come on down to Roller Coaster Galaxy, an interactive, fun-filled roller coaster adventure for the whole family, with 5 locations and fewer annual accidents than the OSHA records indicate. Last year was more fun for some guests than others, but this year is going to be a blast. That's not to indicate that anything will explode. The opposite, in fact. Nothing will explode. Try the new 12-inversion corkscrew rip-roaring Dragon Quest, imported from Germany. It was put back together just fine, by experts. All the safety protocols are in place, so that thing from last January won't happen again. The Black Lagoon water slide's been washed and sterilized after the outbreak of flesh-eating bacteria you might have heard about, and the alligators are pretty much under control. This year at Roller Coaster Galaxy, we're dedicated to safety, and the mass shooting from our Wisconsin location will not be repeated. Try our new concessions, guaranteed not to attract rabid dogs. Located on State Road 316 across from the Walmart.
Oh, God, that just kept getting more and more ridiculous. Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for starting off the new year right. Mm-hmm. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Delete Everything Podcast. Happy New Year. This is our first episode of 2025.
Yay!
Yeah, we're back. And, as always, I'm Patrick Wall, and with me is my co-host,
Riley Bowen.
And today we have our, official, unofficial, New Year's.
Freshly minted, brand new brand
guy.
spanking new,
Producer.
fresh out of the box.
We got a producer.
Producer is maybe a little generous.
You just say your name on this part, Drew. God damn it.
God damn it, Drew.
I'm Drew. Yo.
That's Drew Bowlby, guys.
Drew's gonna be hanging out and interjecting some things here and there. I don't know.
He is the one responsible for that dope ass little theme song you just heard.
Yes.
I'm really happy you guys are so stoked on it.
It's I'm fucking super stoked.
It makes it worth the 20 minutes it took to do.
It takes our fucking dog and pony show up a notch to like a horse and pony show. Sounded like we put some production quality into it.
A wolf and horse show.
Would that be the next step?
That's the next. I mean,
At
you
what
got
point
a
does it
horse
stop?
and a pony.
Do you
What's
just
the point?
is this like a tiered thing? You go like
You got rid of the
dog and pony.
dogs.
Starts out as like chickens and rats.
Why'd you get rid of the dogs? Is all I want to know.
Because we were upgrading.
Yeah, you upgrade the pony. Don't upgrade.
So with a dog and horse show?
If you were at a dog and pony show, and you're looking at a dog and you're looking at a pony, and somebody's like, one of these has got to go, you would say pony.
Yeah, probably pony.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because the dog's got personality at least.
Yeah, pony's the weak point.
Does the pony do tricks? What kind of pony are we talking about?
I don't know. Anyway, welcome back to Delete Everything. Before we jump in, just a reminder to everyone, please get onto those things that you listen to us on and give us 5 stars. For those of you who have, thank you so much. You are our favorite people. By the way, I'm really enjoying like the comment section in Spotify. Do you ever go in there? And
I haven't looked on it lately.
This is some random comments in there. I like it, and just keep that shit coming, please.
I did like when my my buddy got on there and he was like, "Oh, you don't think the crystals can do anything?"
Oh yeah, that was a weird one.
I saw that one.
But
that's Mike. We like Mike.
But it was okay. I thought about responding, but then I realized that my Spotify, because I have to have like all of these accounts to like just, I don't know, because I'm obsessive.
Mm-hmm.
So like I have Amazon Music and Audible and Apple Podcasts on my phone, but I use her Spotify. So if I responded to him on Spotify, it would be from my wife. Just start picking a fight with somebody.
Interesting,
as
like
Allison.
That morning or like earlier that week, I read the comment that was like, okay, yeah, like crystals are proven to have vibrations, but whatever. And I was like, oh, Mike, like wouldn't go about my day. And then our friend Tim Valley was back in town, and I was talking to him, and he was talking about how like he had a weird experience.
How many crystals he had in his ass? Right,
He had
then?
like several
So
crystals
many,
in his ass.
So many crystals.
But he had a weird experience where he was just like sleeping at a girl's house, and she had like some kind of crystal on her fucking bedside table that was supposed to induce like lucid dreaming, and he had a fucking lucid dream, like the only one he's ever had in his life.
I thought he was going to say, and that must be how I got the chlamydia. It was the crystal.
It was the crystals.
The chlamydia crystal.
Didn't just have the crystals for no reason.
I actually have a crystal on my dashboard.
Hey.
Do you?
Yeah, it was a gift. I went
crystal
down to record my brother's, he says, fourth wave ska band.
Fourth wave, huh?
Yeah, it's coming.
We're on a new one.
But
Yeah, it's coming.
we're on a new wave.
according to my dear brother Christian. Anyway, his guitarist gave me a crystal, and it was obviously very important to him. So it was
Okay.
like a
What
nice
is-
gesture.
What's the fourth wave of ska? Is that like just people who grew up with third wave ska that are like?
It's got to be.
I mean, you
Putting-
know,
what do
we
you
should
know?
be we should be
Hang
getting
on.
the EP I recorded out.
The
soon,
people,
so.
the people who grew up with third wave ska are all adults now.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like what? So
We
the
don't have
next-
time for skateboarding and fucking checker pattern.
I mean, I actually
suspenders and
true story
mozzarella
played-
sticks.
I played all of Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 last week.
Hell yeah.
It's apparently much easier as an adult than as a child.
Did you get the 1+2 or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
And now
I mean,
you're
it's
just
also
listening to Goldfinger every
crazy
day.
thing. It's also a lot easier when you have a fucking joystick thing to dick around with instead of just trying to mash those directional buttons. That's insane.
I just played Metal Gear Solid for the first time in like 25
So much
years.
easier with a joystick.
Yes.
Makes
it
sense
was.
now.
Yep.
Well, if you want to send us a message, deleteeverythingpodcast@gmail.com. I totally shanked this intro. It's been, man, I'm on the come down of this
We've had
crazy
a
holiday.
strange productive holiday season, but not productive in podcast land.
I'm fine. No, not productive in every single other. I don't even know if productive is the word. Just insanely busy. Just busy, busy.
A lot of shit going on this season.
I'm finally like at the light at the end of the tunnel is starting to come. I'm starting to illuminate the interior of my vehicle, and I'm like, I'm out. So we're back, and for our first week of, or our first drop, our first episode. What do we call these?
Oh, I think we were going with, no, ostensibly this episode is about theme park tragedies.
Yes.
But well, I got the reins for this one. Again, this is
Yeah.
another Riley episode.
We got to
here.
think of a different word because we've already used tragedies,
because I
we've
also-
used mishaps.
Yeah, I'm
we've
also
used,
like, I am just not. I don't feel the bloodlust of these like the way that some other people might. Like, I think it's interesting to be able to look back and see what could go wrong with giant metal devices flying across tracks at multiples 80s miles an hour.
Well, yeah, but the thing
and
that's
inverting
thing that's supposed to be great about them is that it's terrifying but safe.
yeah, I mean
That's what it's
yeah.
supposed to be.
Of course.
But
Okay.
every
yes.
time you've gotten on a roller coaster, you've had the thought,
Oh yeah.
you know,
100%.
One of the reasons I was actually really interested.
We're going to
in,
use calamity, by the way.
Calamity.
This is going to be, yeah.
Okay,
I'm just
cool.
thinking of synonyms for tragedy, and this is going to be theme park calamity.
Calamity. Okay. I'll go-
Calamities. Calamity.
Theme park chlamydia.
did you play Oregon Trail with us?
Is that why that's in my head?
Yeah.
Calamity.
Calamity.
All right. So,
But one of the reasons I was interested in doing this one personally was I was recently on, like I've got annual passes to Universal. Mm-hmm. Not my plan. I'm a Midwestern guy. Like I didn't expect to be going to Universal Orlando 7-8 times a year.
Gross.
It seems fucking crazy to me.
yeah, it is.
I've had a lot of fun with it actually. It gets the more comfortable you get in a place like that, the weirder it is. It's almost like Zen-like. I was like walking over the bridge at Universal, headed towards like Harry Potter Land or whatever, and fucking like, oh, are you supposed to say something now?
No, I'm having a mild stroke just thinking about it.
Well, so like I'm like drinking a soda, I got a turkey leg in my hand, and my wife's walking with me, and I was like, this fucking feels like a romantic comedy or something. Like this is not a setting that I would be in.
I can
This
think
is
of way
bizarre.
better ways to spend too much money.
It's just crazy. Well, because
yeah.
I've already spent the money.
Not on the turkey
I got-
leg. What's the turkey leg running? at?
$34.
18? 34. I said 18. 34?
Yeah, fucking insane.
Jesus fuck. You could buy half of a turkey farm for that.
So
You can buy a small turkey for that.
in any
You
case,
can.
like,
And just,
well, $34.
You can buy a small turkey for
Right?
less than that. You can buy a big turkey for $34, I feel like. I don't know what turkeys cost.
I
I don't know how much the
What's the
turkeys
turkey
cost.
market looking like right now?
That can tell you. You know, you can tell that we're not really like as struggling as much as we used to when we were younger. Because the younger version of us would know what a turkey costs.
Would we?
No, probably not. Because we wouldn't think about buying a
I've
fucking
never.
turkey.
My mommy cooks the
Could
turkey.
tell you what a bottle of Seagram 7 costs.
Yeah, that one I know.
What are cocaine prices these days? So one reason I was like interested in doing this is that I've spent a lot of time at Universal lately, and I've gotten to like, you know, I'm more interested in the ins and outs of the background shit. I've got a couple of friends who work there, and like I've gotten like some cool like intel and information.
We really
about,
wanted a friend of yours
An
who is an
insider.
employee at Universal Studios.
No, at
too.
nowhere. Don't worry about. We're not even mentioning.
Who
Okay,
cares?
okay. I know someone who works. I go to Universal all the time. I know someone who works at Universal. I'm not going.
We
to,
wanted
I
that
will
person
indicate
to be.
nothing,
Yeah,
but
we wanted that person to be a guest today.
That person said, "What are you out of your fucking mind?"
And you're gonna know the reason real soon.
Yeah, exactly.
You could have like done like a voice modulation thing.
Yeah, right. I told him. He's like, no, or her, them. I told them. So, but anyway, I've been going to Universal a lot.
happened next was...
And I'm super into like the movie behind the scenes, like,
bit off their dick.
the behind the scenes angle of everything. You know, I love seeing like the mechanic. Like you go to the fucking ET ride at Universal, and I like seeing, you know, the fucking dusty joints in the background. Like I look past all the shit that like all the tourists is looking at, and I'm like, I want to see the fucking swing arm carrying everything. I want to see like the dust on all this shit that people haven't like ever paid attention to.
You want to see the maintenance man's
Yeah,
limp
exactly.
body just
Exactly.
swaying.
You know exactly what I'm talking about. But we went to the Harry Potter world, went to Universal's Islands of Adventure, where they've got like a big fucking Harry Potter Hogwarts.
Yeah.
Like inside Hogwarts ride? I can't remember what it's called.
God,
It's-
those fucking nerds.
That's actually a fucking cool ride, though.
Yeah, but
That's
the people.
Oh, yeah, bunch of dorks.
If I could just go there by myself, I could probably appreciate like how much thought and work went into like recreating this thing.
That's what I go there, and I love it as like a carpentry construction guy. Like
Sure, but every time
walking
one of
through
these
that and-
fucking dweebs walks by me going, "Let's go to the wand shop," I'd be like,
"Fuck you, Wingardium Leviosa,
Yeah, God.
Mumsy, I want a chocolate frog."
fucking just slamming kids' faces into the side of fucking lampposts.
Out of the way, you fucking dweeb.
Now, does Universal ban people dressing up like Disney does, or no?
No, you can dress up if you want. People are wearing robes and shit all over the place.
It's gonna be a
you just
fucking
made it
nightmare.
worse.
Yeah.
You just made it worse.
Whatever. I was having a bunch of fun, but
You know,
like I'm a cynical fuck. But I gotta say, once you're actually there and you're doing the things, like this is actually cool.
You know what? It's a new year. I'm not here to poop on your party, but
Yeah, quit fucking do. Yeah,
You go-
but
go
anyway,
nuts.
so they've got
Wingardium Leviosa.
Assalamu alaikum to you. But so fucking, you go into this Hogwarts replica, which is amazing. Looks beautiful. Like from where you're standing on the ground, you look up and it just looks like this giant fucking castle, and it's a miniature. You know, you can tell it's a miniature if you know it's a miniature and you know about physics and shit, distance. But like, it looks like there's a fucking giant castle up this
Yeah.
mountain. Then you walk 30 feet and you're there. Which is crazy. But like,
And it's like 2 stories.
yeah, you go inside, and it's like you're in the fucking castle. Like they've constructed everything. It looks the line must have taken as much work, just like standing in line. Must have taken as much work visually as anything else attached to it. But I've done it a few times. So my wife and daughter and we go to the single rider line because you can zip through these fucking things. Like if you don't know about this at major parks, if you just go on the single rider line, they'll like,
The line goes faster because
Yeah.
they put you in with.
yeah, there'll be like,
If it's 4 people to a row and there's 3 party
it'll
of 3
be-
people, they go,
yeah.
"Oh, we need one person."
yeah, group of
Pop
three,
'em in
group
there.
of 3
Yeah.
people
Yeah, I know.
wants to ride together, and they fucking like, okay, we got one single person, so you can zip through there at 100 times the pace.
Right.
Like instead of a 90-minute wait, you have a 4.5-minute wait. 'Cause You're just zipping because nobody likes to do this shit alone. I don't know why. Maybe because it'd be psychotic to do that alone. But so we do the single rider thing just so we can go fucking ride the ride and then talk about it after.
Sure.
We got on it, and this is the first time that my 13-year-old daughter has taken a ride by herself. I mean, ostensibly by herself. Like I'm just in another like car on
Sure.
another thing. And I'm in this shit. We're going through it. It's all dark, and then it's like a suspended ride. You're on these fucking mechanical arms that like move your seats and everything, and these big screens. And it freezes. And the screen goes and freezes, and we're just stuck there in the dark and we don't hear anything. The other people on my thing are like, oh God, oh, and I'm thinking like, fuck. I bet my daughter's like upside down, fucking like, in the dark. Shit's
freaking
on
out.
fire. Oh god. So that was one of the only times that I've ever had like a mechanical failure. It just turned on after a minute. It took about 45 seconds maybe, and then then
Yeah.
everything like worked again. But there was a quick moment that was like, oh, disaster, death, somebody died.
Calamity.
Yes, calamity. Blood, blood.
So you guys all died.
No, we got off just fine. And then we wrote it
Ah,
again
shit.
because we were annoyed that it fucked it. Which is like totally against my instinct. My instinct was like, well, let's never do it again. And my wife was like, what? No, let's do it again right now. What are you talking about?
Jesus.
Everybody else is not getting back
Right.
on,
But
so
it
we'll
made-
get on even quicker.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it made me think a little bit about like what it would feel like to be involved in some of these calamities.
Not great.
Not great. I don't think it would be very fun. But again, me not being like bloodthirsty and being like wanting to talk specifically about murder, guess what I did?
You put together an episode about horrific things happening in the theme park.
Yeah, but I'm going to gently sprinkle interlaced with those.
Times that people had a great time in the theme park.
Come on, what's the podcast? What do we do here? What do we talk about usually?
Talk a lot of shit about nonsense.
It's
It's
like,
like a race, everybody.
race? We race?
No, a race.
Oh,
thing?
We talk about obscure, unknown, little known, partial facts and histories.
histories. There we go. So I'm going to do a little bit of history in this episode, just a touch.
I knew what you wanted. I just didn't want to give it to you.
Fucking just like my mother.
Yeah, you know. It's
I'm just joking.
thrill of the chase, babe. Come get me. If I give it all up front, you know, then you find someone new to give it to you.
All right, delete that thing about my mother. Okay, so the
No.
the original theme parks, like the history of theme parks, can be traced back to ancient and medieval religious festivals and trade fairs and things called pleasure gardens in Europe, which is like, I mean, like a pleasure garden would be.
I've been to a pleasure garden in Europe.
I mean,
Red Light District, Amsterdam.
I haven't.
Hot shit.
it's got a
I know what it
slight,
sounds like.
it's got a slightly different connotation when you say pleasure these days. Back in the day, it'd be like, it's a nice day to walk through the
Oh,
flowers. Yes,
what a pleasurable afternoon, my darling.
yeah, take a stroll in your top hat and just be like, yes, I enjoyed the pleasures of the garden.
Your
today."
waistcoat with the tails.
You
Little
know?
tails hanging back.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, what a beautiful day for love. You know, like that kind of shit. But like prior to that, like the traditional thing would be you got like fairs. You know, a fair would be a small-lived, maybe like week-long event where different vendors or entertainers and stuff come through. You
Yeah, a
couldn't-
fair. It hasn't changed. I'm sorry. I just
but like that,
is
it
like-
was structured that way because
Fair with an E on the end.
yes, fair
Yeah.
like not fair play. They would have plays at these fairs.
Okay.
But I think that would be again. That's a different.
I feel like we're getting off to a real bumpy start in the new year.
What are you talking about? Did you hear the fucking production quality on that song?
Yeah, the song. Maybe that's the
Did
reason
you hear
why.
the sound
Maybe
effects
that's
that
the
I
reason
was
why.
playing? There was a laser noise at one point.
Yeah. Oh, I was talking about Drew's song.
Oh yeah, no, that was good too.
I feel like that made us seem so professional that we're not living up to the hype now.
my intro was so fucking good.
It was a good intro. You know
it
what?
was.
Credit where credit's due. That was a fucking.
I feel like the wolf noise didn't get heard as well. Right towards the end, it was kind of covered by stuff, but there was a wolf noise in there too. Anyway, the fair like lifestyle of Age of Europe was kind of built around the fact that like if you had entertainers, vendors, like nomadic musicians or actors, they couldn't be everywhere all the time. So they would do these, circles and cycles, and they'd go through Denmark into Germany into France and eventually end up in England or something. And so the schedule of these fairs would be set up that way. You get your amusement parks when they become permanent fixtures. Mm-hmm. Right? One of the earliest ones ever established was a place called Bartholomew Fair.
This is a permanent one.
Yes, it started out as
A traveling.
just one of the traveling events, but it was like equinox based religious gathering. And this thing lasted 700 years.
Okay.
It was a 7th century long fair. It would happen once a year, 3 days. right?
700 years. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's fucking nuts, right? Like Bartholomew Fair was one
It's
of London's...
crazy now if you see like the 20th annual such and such fair. You're like, 20 years is kind of long. That's impressive, I guess.
The Bartholomew Fair was a charter fair granted by King Henry I. And a charter fair is like a fundraiser. So it was granted by King Henry I to fund the Priory of St. Bartholomew in 1133. And it took place each year on the 24th of August within the precincts of the Priory in London until 1855 when it was banned because of public disturbances. I chose to talk about this because possibly the first amusement park calamity occurred here.
Okay.
During the Bartholomew Fair, they exhibited the execution of Scottish revolutionary William Wallace.
Well, that doesn't. That's not an accident. That's just a.
Well, it doesn't have to be an accident. It's
just
a calamity.
murder. Oh, you're right. You're right. We're doing calamities.
Yeah.
Debacle.
That was that.
But in general,
Seems like it probably was
a
calamitous.
horrific castration, disemboweling,
Did they castrate him?
hanging, and then cut him into a bunch of pieces and sent him to all corners of the empire,
Hell
so
yeah.
that Sir Edward the Longshanks would never again be countered by man.
Oh, Edward was a dick.
Until Braveheart 2. But the Bartholomew Fair over the years was one of the first places to exhibit things like freak shows.
Okay.
Yeah, like they first started using the term freak or freak show for this annual exhibition, Bartholomew Fair.
Hollaback episode 7.
Hey.
I think it was 7.
I think 7. Yeah, Freaks was 7.
Okay, good.
Yeah, and I ain't no Hollaback girl. But the fair would have like sideshows, prize fighters, musicians, wire walkers, acrobats, puppets, freaks, wild animals, what have you.
Okay.
And then apparently the Puritanical Society of England couldn't handle that.
Look at all the fun they're having. Oh no!
I wonder if it could be traced actually,
Send them to the gallows.
which is right there, right next to it.
They're right there in the middle of the fair.
But I wonder if things like Bartholomew Fair contributed to the environment of debauchery that drove the pilgrims to leave
Maybe
England and then eventually
Maybe.
find
I
the New
feel
World.
like the debaucherous nature of looking through history at the craziness surrounding public executions somehow drove fairs into well, all these people are here to watch this guy get fucking broken on the wheel and hung.
I think that's
let's have a Ferris wheel.
Yeah,
for the kids.
I think that's very apt. I think that makes a lot of sense. For
Someone
what
was
the
like,
fuck
"I'm gonna,
is going on.
you know what? I'm gonna set up a booth. I'm gonna fry some Snickers, and we're gonna make a killing."
Look at ancient Rome. You get your gladiator matches and your fucking your bear baiting and all that, and right outside they're selling kebabs.
I would be willing to bet if we went through the history of sort of how these things came to being, I would almost be willing to bet like there's probably some historical parallel. There's somewhere where those things intersected. There's somewhere where public executions needed a way to like entertain beyond just we're killing this guy.
Oh, like they needed like a place for to put the kids.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Public execution and splash
and
park.
people are going to be here all day. They're going to get fed. They need food.
Right.
And bring some money. Pay me for food.
I'll bet you there are going to be some perverts in there. They're going to be pretty horned up after watching these beheadings. So get some whores in here.
Some guy who lives on the outskirts of town. He's got a whole herd of goats. He's like, well, now we got a petting zoo. Come on.
Yeah.
One shilling a child.
Come on down to Winston's Goats and Whores.
Right behind the Ferris wheel.
But yeah, so the first amusement parks in the United States were like picnic grounds where workers would go on outings. Some of the first amusement parks in the U.S. were in Connecticut, around Lake Compounce and Rocky Point in Rhode Island. A lot of New England stuff. This is really just like the basic idea of the pleasure garden. It's like, oh, it's a nice day, and all the steel workers don't have to work today, so they take their families for a walk and have a sandwich out by here. And then somebody be like, hey, that place where they're eating the sandwiches out there in the grass, let's bring like a thing and have them throw rocks at like a Jew or something for a nickel.
Jesus Christ.
And they said, well, I mean, listen, America's a horrifying place and always has been.
Yeah. Throw the rock at the Jew for
I'm
a
not
nickel.
promoting the game Throw the Rock at the Jew. I'm saying that somebody was like, hey, we could probably make some money off these suckers. and also sell some more sandwiches. So, you start your vendors and all that kind of stuff. But the modern theme park is credited mostly to Walt Disney, who opened Disneyland in California in the mid-1950s. Disneyland was inspired by the lack of unifying themes and suitable entertainment options for adults and children. So
that park definitely had to throw a rock at the Jew for a nickel.
For sure.
For those not in the know, Walt Disney was a horrifying anti-Semite. But I like the idea.
Well,
that,
and racist. I mean,
Yeah,
let's not
I
shoebox
feel
him.
like Disney was very like, you know what we need more of? We need to combine like a children's park and brothel, so that the kids can have fun while the parents have fun, right?
I know for a fact that we'll never find out whether or not he thought that initially, but I would love to know that that's what he thought.
It just feels like that's something very like, because you got like all your kids parks and then your adult themed parks that would be like booze and whatever horrors fucking adults like. So amusement parks started as like fairs bringing carnies and attractions on an annual basis around Europe, but the first fixed location and year-round parks began as world's fairs and exhibitions. Things like the Crystal Palace in London that housed the Great Exhibition of 1851. It's like an exhibition of technology developed during the Industrial Revolution. It's like a giganto, fucking like huge glass house, like a greenhouse almost, multiple stories, thousands of feet long, filled with like crazy steampunk inventions and machines and shit like that. I always thought that was pretty cool. Actually, have you ever watched there's an anime out there called Steam Boy? You ever see that? There's like a big, very steampunk oriented.
No.
Nerds. But also, another notable...
I'm a nerd?
Yeah. Another notable world fair, and this is just something that I find interesting, that would have inspired like an amusement park, would be the White City in Chicago,
Okay.
which was built for the World's Columbian Exhibition, also known as the Chicago's World Fair.
Okay.
You guys familiar with this?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so the World's Fair was held in Chicago from May 5th to October 31st, 1893, to celebrate the 400th anniversary of Christopher Columbus's arrival in the New World. It was notoriously exploited by famed murderer H.H. Holmes. So here's yet another calamity that would befall historically an area of festivity. So at the Chicago's World Fair, and it was like 1893. One of the world's most famous serial killers was living right down the street. He owned a hotel.
Oh,
and
boy.
People would check in and never check out. You heard about this guy, H.H. Holmes?
No.
I actually don't know this. Guy.
There's this great book called The Devil in the White City. H.H. Holmes was the creepiest of murder fucks you've ever heard of. He had this hotel. You could check in. He would have things like trapdoors under beds, closets that would fall to like fucking fake rooms, chutes that would lead directly into the kill room in the basement.
Holy
like,
shit.
Jesus Christ.
Dude, shit like rooms that will like once you clocked it, like close the door wouldn't open and the room would fill with gas. Like this guy was a fucking nightmare.
Wow.
Who do you think he's getting to come in and like make this shit?
Bravo for
who's
innovation.
making this stuff? I mean, like him. Gotta be him, right?
What kind of fucking background did this guy come from? He's a carpentry, chemist.
know.
Like, how many things does he have going?
Pat, you're a contractor. What would you pay? Like, how much would you charge to build like a murder slide from a bedroom down to a basement?
A lot of money.
I don't know.
A
Materials.
lot of money just to look the other way
Materials
and
plus
not
time.
ask questions.
This is gonna be a tough one. Because you want the trap door to be sturdy.
You
and
got to factor in how much do I want this job.
You
know,
want
that
the
factors into
bed
the price.
to like bolt down onto the trap door, so it's gonna be a flip situation that sends the person
Yeah.
down the slide.
Well, you don't need the whole bed to flip upside down. You just need it. You need.
Or just like a clank.
You need. Let's call it 50 degrees,
like a mousetrap kinda.
50 to 60 degrees back. Head of the bed. That way, because people are top heavy, so you just the headboard goes down. Let's call it 50 degrees. And then they just slide right down. If they get bumped and bruised on the way down, I mean, they're on their way to their murder anyway. So that's what's a bonk on the head on the way down?
But so what is it, like
some
7-8 grand?
No way, man. I gotta cut joists
My
and stuff. I gotta
overhead is
reframe.
fucking crazy for this project.
I gotta pull up floors. I gotta
4
take out
stories.
joists. I gotta reframe. Then I gotta.
The
That's
hard
before
one,
I
you
even
gotta-
get to the slide.
You got to hide the slide in the walls too.
Yeah.
You can't have it cutting right through the room below.
No.
You know, you got to have it at an angle. It's got to.
Oh, well, I assumed the room below was just available for however I wanted to. I was
Well,
thinking of doing like a swirly slide. So
What
at
if you
least
had
I a
like
good
what if
time on
your
the
what
way
if your
down.
murder slide was accessible for multiple rooms? You know, like it's just one of those situations where you could do a lot of different. You know what? We're off topic.
Are we? Are we really?
Not really, honestly, because we're talking about the calamities associated with these sorts of sort of things.
They're taking a ride, to be fair. You know.
Yeah, hey.
Ladies and gentlemen, Drew.
Drew Bowlby, everybody.
Yo.
But I mean, like, this is all roundabout until we get to the spectacular and horrifying events of some of these calamities. Just to say that amusement parks have always been goddamn death traps, and the frivolity and fun that we're looking for on these outings is just goes hand in hand with how would Herzog say it? Just a horrific cacophony of blood and murder. As John Hammond in Jurassic Park,
Oh my God.
said, he related in the Steven Spielberg film Jurassic Park, Universal.
Intimately
The Universal
aware of
Studios
this
film Jurassic Park. The character John Hammond relates that when Disneyland California opened, it had all kinds of problems. To which Ian Malcolm replied that the Pirates of the Caribbean breakdown, they don't eat the tourists.
Are you going to tell us that they did once?
No, but it's not actually too far from the truth, considering that in 2016, a 2-year-old boy was eaten by an alligator at Disney World Orlando.
I remember that one.
Was
Yeah.
that during the fireworks show, right?
I don't think it was during a fireworks show. It was more of just like they're outside the Disney World Resort.
Yeah. They were
He's-
doing a fire. They had a fireworks and the parents were like standing in the water, right?
They were kind of like standing off to the side with their daughter, who's also like 3 or 4, and the little boy was just kind of scooping stuff on the water's edge. Alligator comes out, ka-chomp, and just drags the kid in by his head. Dad jumps in,
tried to fight
dramatically
the-
tries
yeah,
to save
yeah,
him.
yeah.
Didn't work out.
Yeah. I remember that.
No.
I very distinctly remember that one.
So that's a good Jurassic Park parallel there. But that
Different studios, but I mean, they're right down the street from one another.
that is just to say that the Disney company has facilitated some of the more horrific, violent, and terrifying situations that anyone could ever come across on a lovely jaunt out with a family.
You mean in their theme parks?
I mean, as far as I understand.
Okay.
I don't know what Walt
didn't know
was
if you
up to on his weekends.
Hey there, ladies and gentlemen. Look at my penis.
Here, the first Walt Disney Resort at the 1893 Chicago's Fair, featuring proprietor H.H. Holmes.
I didn't know if maybe you were going to go into their movies. You know, I was not sure if you.
No,
had some-
I mean, no. We have a different podcast topic for that. That's when we talk about filming incidents. What do we call those? Big set mishaps.
movie set mishaps.
Movie set mishaps. Yeah. We still have to do another one of those when we talk about Jackie Chan.
We do have to do another one of those where we talk about Jackie Chan.
Drew, when we first did our first movie set mishap episode, we recorded for 4 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And we were, I was at least quite drunk, and we didn't record any of it.
We did record.
It was unusable. We were recording from the laptop, not through the
You told me about
microphones.
this.
Yeah.
We talked
Someone's
about Jackie
plugged up
Chan for
backwards.
like an hour.
I can't be trusted. Is I think the point.
But we talked about Jackie Chan for something like an hour.
In that episode, yeah, probably 40 minutes of that was just Jackie Chan gushing.
So, Disneyland Park in California.
Mm-hmm.
On July 8th, 1974, 18-year-old Deborah Gale Stone, a new employee who had just graduated from Santa Ana High School, was crushed to death after slipping between a revolving wall and a stationary platform inside the America Sings attraction.
Jesus.
It was logged as a wrong place, wrong time accident. She was at the wrong place during a ride intermission. It is unclear whether this was the result of inadequate training or a misstep, as the ride had been opened about a week earlier. This is America Sings.
There's a bunch of real fruity dressed motherfuckers with choreographed song and dance, and some girls getting crushed backstage.
Yeah, very much so. I guess it's like a lot of animatronic puppets doing like the small world sort of thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They're just like, we're unified.
I thought it was like
in
one
the
of those-
nation, and then you hear from the background like, ah.
I thought it was like one of the shows, they put on the little shows, like, and
No, it was
and
like it was
stages.
a revolving stage full of puppets. And she was like working it in the background, and maybe like the hem of her dress got caught or something. She just
Oh
got,
my
She just got
God.
pulled into the mechanism and crushed to death against a wall. And since they've
What year was this?
This was 1974.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah,
So
back when America was really rocking it with robots. Before all these safety protocols.
yeah.
I guess they revamped it for a while. They like put in like breakaway walls.
There's a
and shit
Skynet
like that.
joke in there somewhere. I'm not going to.
That was the first victim. But I mean, this you don't come back from that. Hey, let's check out the Pirates of the
Literally.
Caribbean.
Literally
hey,
you don't.
Let's check out the Indiana Jones adventure. Hey, let's check out America Sings. It's haunted.
With the girl who was crushed.
That's a horrific way
Yeah,
to
this-
die. I work in an ER, and even I think that's horrific.
Yeah.
So that one that got shut down.
You don't say. Did they shelf it the next day? I fucking hope so. Did they shelf it the same minute? I hope so.
No, they shut it down for 2 days and did a bunch of repairs, put in breakaway walls and stuff. But then over the ensuing months, people were like, I don't know about America Sings.
They really tried to keep it rocking for a
Fuck
while.
yeah! You know how much they put into building all these shitty little animatronics, singing about fucking fields of wheat and shit.
I would assume that's any of them. That they're going to try to keep them open.
Of course,
Like
always
any ride.
This
Oh no, but they redo them at like Jaws isn't there anymore. But they reuse all
which
that
I am
shit.
very upset about.
Yeah, they reuse all
Same.
that the hydraulic shit.
Bring back
whatever
Jaws
they do.
2025. Yeah, but I mean,
That's it.
I feel like there are some attractions that get away with shit like that. For instance, Jaws. Like if you get fucking somebody's leg got bit off by Jaws jumping out of the water, I'll be like, oh fuck, cool, and probably go ride that.
It's
I don't
on
think,
theme,
I don't think
you
his
know?
mouth ever closed all
No,
the way.
of course
He
not,
comes up and he's like,
But that's fine. That's like. But if it's just like you go to Small World or something, one of the fucking animatronics stabbed a little girl in the throat. Like, I don't think that's the ride for me, man. In 1978, it was alleged that an employee playing Winnie the Pooh slapped a 10-year-old girl named Debbie Lopez.
Wait, what?
No, hold on. This is a lot of fun. This is fun. This one's not a calamity. This is just actually a lot of... So, like, okay.
Winnie the Pooh lost his shit that day.
In doing my research, I was telling Patrick this earlier. In doing my research for this episode, there is no limit to how many of these fucking incidents we can talk about. The Wikipedia, specifically for list of incidents at Disneyland Resort, you've got 200 entries.
I know that
And there's no real differentiation between Winnie the Pooh slapping a little girl or somebody being sawed in half by the fucking log ride or whatever. But like the list is endless, and it's just as big for Universal, and it's just as big for fucking like any other theme park you go to.
I wonder how many they're just like brushing under the rug too.
Hundreds,
all
hundreds and
of
hundreds.
them.
They have, there's
That's why
actually
nobody hears about them. That's why we do what we do, because people don't hear about this shit.
there are multiple lawsuits of people getting injured in Disney parks and them using their own nurses or paramedics and bringing their own lawyers and taking them to like undisclosed locations for medical treatment instead of taking them to big hospitals because they're like, we can get this done. We can give them $500 at free admission, and then they'll never talk about it.
Sidebar, did you hear recently about the guy who, this was kind of big news, the guy whose wife died at one of the Disney Resort restaurants?
Yes.
They went in
yeah.
and they said like she's got these allergies, like they projected
it
what
was like a nut
food
allergy?
allergies she had. Yeah. And they were like, oh yeah, we got that.
Yeah, she-
Didn't do it. She died. And then because of the terms of service for like
For Disney Plus.
for Disney Plus, apparently in their terms of service it says you can't sue Disney for anything
Ever. Anything.
and I think
ever.
and I think there's even some like bullshit when you go into the park that you're like supposed to somehow there's something there.
What a dystopian
I haven't
nightmare.
been to Disney World in I can't even tell you how many decades.
How did they
but-
not just have an EpiPen laying around? Is what I'm wondering.
Well, and also, so all that shit's going to go before the Supreme Court, and that's sort of a crapshoot given some of the things that they have decided recently, and like the implications of that. If they say, "Oh yeah, this is fine," they don't owe him anything for the negligence of killing someone in a restaurant when they said, hey, should we eat here? Because if we do, she can't have any of these things. You got this or no? And they say, yeah, no, we got it. And then she dies. So the implications of saying, well, they don't owe you anything are kind of huge for every other major corporation that gives two shits about whether anybody lives or dies.
Just imagine this. You don't get to have any services because you won't click like accept for the thing that says like, yeah, if your wife is murdered at our park, then we don't have to pay you anything. Like, if that guy didn't do that, he wouldn't get Disney Plus, right? Okay, so if that is the indicator, you can just tack on this, you can't sue us for anything sort of a deal in something as innocuous as just
hide it somewhere in 30 pages of terms of service.
If that's not going to be countered, then any company can do that for anything at any time.
Exactly.
I mean, as much as like I downloaded an app where I got a fucking cat that you gotta throw like tennis balls at, like. And in that, it's like if we break into your house and cut your legs off, then that's just our legs now.
I went to
a South Park episode, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, South Park did do that. Yeah, they did that with like the Apple terms of service and the human centipede.
Yeah, I went to a football game the other day.
The human cent iPad, I remember.
Yeah.
I went to a game the other day, and the Ticketmaster, to get my tickets from Ticketmaster, they had a terms of service agreement. That I had to scroll through the whole thing before I could get my tickets. And I'm walking up to the gates, and I'm like, oh, yeah, let me get these tickets and, download them, put them in my wallet or whatever. And I'm like trying to hit, send me the fucking tickets. And like, the button was sort of grayed out because I had to scroll through all the terms of service. And I was like, literally sitting there going,
you saw it.
Sitting there like scrolling, like probably 10 times that I tossed my finger up the fucking screen.
You're agreeing to a lot of shit. And any one of those could have been like, you are obligated to suck a security guard's balls.
Yeah. We get one night with your wife.
Yeah, it's a little prima nocte. Braveheart jokes. I have come to claim my right as a lord. Like fucking... But this is something that I
think...
So
Ticketmaster sodomized me last night. That's why I'm in a little bit of a foul mood today.
Boy, I can relate to that.
Yeah, right.
You hear what I'm saying, guys? Ticketmaster, ticket prices.
Sodomize
right?
you every time you buy a ticket.
Also, literally. But it occurs to me that like, okay, so that happens. That guy gets no restitution whatsoever for this egregious error, and you're supposed to just go home? You're fucked. You don't get anything. That's that. She's dead. Disney killed her, and shut up.
Yeah, I mean, I think they have kids, so that might be, the one thing to prevent it. But like, if that happened to me, and then the Supreme Court came back and was like, "Yeah, no, sorry, buddy," like, I don't think there would be anything to stop me from just going on an absolute terror binge.
It occurs to me, okay,
collateral damage, be damned.
They've got kids, right? So. Let's place this in the Middle East real quick. Say somebody's out to dinner with their wife and that woman is shot to death by some, I don't know, extremist of some kind. Dad can't do anything about it, just comes home and says, hey, sorry, kids.
Mom's dead.
Mom's dead because of this group of people. Those kids grow up to be terrorists like 7 times out of 10. Like, that's fucking... Yeah. They're like, oh, well, I guess we'll have to kill all those people, right? So, like, how long is it going to take for shit like that to happen until somebody blows up part of Disney?
Yeah, I mean, you got to assume those kids and their kids, and
talk
probably
about
their
a calamity.
Kids are not going to ever be Disney people.
Yeah,
right? Ever going to give a fucking cent to Disney.
Driving them right to Nickelodeon.
Is Nickelodeon still around?
Oh, yeah. They don't have a park anymore, but... They still got like
they
stuff.
have a Nickelodeon park in Orlando also.
Yeah, it was part of. Well, it was Universal, right?
Yeah, it was part of Universal. Yeah. They shut it down before I ever got to go, and I was very sad about it.
You never got to get slimed.
Never got to get slimed.
Thing.
In 1978, it was alleged that an employee playing Winnie the Pooh slapped a 10-year-old girl named Debbie Lopez and caused bruising, recurring headaches, and possible brain damage.
Oh, come on.
The workers testified that the child was tugging at his costume from.
It was a guy that slapped a female child?
Yes. The worker testified that the child was tugging at his costume from behind, and when he turned around, he accidentally struck the girl in the ear. At one point, the employee entered the courtroom
In his Winnie the Pooh costume.
After a recess wearing the Pooh costume.
Stop. He really did?
And responded to questions while on the witness stand as Pooh,
Stop.
including dancing a jig.
Are you fucking
What?
serious?
Appearing as Pooh showed the jury that the costume's arms were too low to the ground to slap a girl of the victim's height. The jury acquitted the worker after 21 minutes of deliberation.
Oh, I thought he was going for not mentally competent. You show up to your trial dressed as Winnie the Pooh and you're just in character the whole time. You're like, oh, I don't know.
Oh, bother.
Well, that's his voice.
Bother. Legal inquest. Okay. Still with Disneyland on this one, okay?
I plead the fifth.
So, on June 25th, 2000, a 23-year-old woman exited the Indiana Jones ride complaining of a severe headache. Never got to go on the Indiana Jones ride either.
There was a ride. I remember there was
It's in California. It's the Anaheim one.
Yeah, I don't recall.
They had like a show that they put on at Universal
That's
Orlando,
right, yeah.
which was rad.
Yeah.
At least to like 6-year-old me.
You're like, oh, God, he's got the whip and everything.
they had the plane from Raiders.
Oh, sick.
Yeah.
Does it-
They
yeah,
did
and
the
it
whole- they
flips.
did- no,
And it
There's a
splatters
lot
a
of
real Nazi.
blowing
Yeah.
up and stuff. There's a
Yeah,
lot of
yeah.
explosions. I remember that.
The plane just does a circle and cuts a person's face off right there live.
They skipped that part,
It's
unfortunately.
the best part of the movie.
It is. Well,
It
that
is.
and the gun thing.
Oh, the whip gun?
Yeah.
they
No.
got-
When the guy comes out with the
Is it-
scimitar or whatever.
The scimitar, yeah. He did
Yeah.
have a scimitar.
Then Indiana Jones pop. I don't. The story is that was like Harrison Ford was just tired after a long day. I don't think so. I think that was written in, and they were like, "No, we'll make a story about it."
Yeah.
Like, there was supposed to be a fight sequence.
Yeah, whatever.
I guess. What? Who cares?
I don't.
You know anybody else has a gigantic Indiana Jones forearm tattoo?
Yeah, but do you want to sit here and like wax back and forth on whether that was real or not?
You wax back and forth.
Yeah.
On June 25th, 2000, a 23-year-old woman exited the Indiana Jones ride complaining of a severe headache. She was hospitalized later that day and was discovered to have suffered a brain hemorrhage. She died on September 1st, 2000, of a cerebral aneurysm. Her family's subsequent wrongful death lawsuit against Disney stated that the victim died because of violent shaking and stresses imposed by the ride.
What was the ride again?
It was the Indiana
Jones
Jones
Okay,
Adventure.
Yeah.
In an interlocutory appeal, that's an appeal of a legal issue with the case prior to a decision on the case's merit, the California Supreme Court held that amusement parks are considered common carriers similar to commercially operated planes, trains, elevators, and ski lifts. This ruling imposes a heightened duty of care on amusement parks and requires them to provide the same degree of care and safety as do other common carriers, which means before the year 2000...
You didn't see signs saying like
Exactly. Very
if
literally.
you're pregnant or
There were no
Oh,
signs. There were no,
okay.
they didn't have the height restrictions that they do now, the speed
Interesting.
regulations, or any of that. It wasn't until September 1st of the year 2000 where legally everyone was required to be treated as a living human.
They had to put up a sign saying, "Hey, you might fall out of this ride if you're this tall or this tall." I was wondering where that was going because as far as
Oh, hey,
like-
well, just like, head injury, whatever.
well, yeah, I mean, but
Well, actually, something very similar happened here in Florida at Universal Studios not too long ago.
yeah,
The Hollywood Rip Ride rocket is like their tallest coaster. Has been, I mean, people.
is that the one that plays Aerosmith the whole time?
Yeah, you
Gross.
get. You can choose from a bunch of different songs.
They're all Aerosmith songs though.
No. You can get Kenny Loggins,
No, you can't.
Highway to the Danger Zone. Yeah.
Can you really?
I think he's
I
right.
know the song.
You know.
I thought it was
Top
all
Gun?
Aerosmith songs.
No, it's not all. No, it's not all Aerosmith.
Why do they have an Aerosmith?
It's very
roller coaster?
Aerosmith branded. To be
It,
fair,
it has an Aerosmith thing about it, sure.
Ugh.
You don't have to listen to just Aerosmith.
They should demolish that immediately.
But somebody recently on there was like towards the back of the car, got like whipped and smacked their head, and also had like a brain aneurysm. So that's still happening, but that one's probably going to get torn down next year anyway. So the Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket has like this option where you can choose from one of like 100 songs or something to listen to.
100?
Yeah, Patrick apparently only associates Aerosmith.
I don't know
this.
why I always heard it was like the Aerosmith roller coaster. Is that not maybe it's a different thing? I feel like there was like a exclusively Aerosmith
I'm with you.
roller
I
coaster.
thought that too.
And I
That would like Aerosmith
Threw up in my mouth when I heard about it.
exclusively Aerosmith roller coaster.
Yes.
A roller coaster just themed specifically like.
I thought it
Literally.
wasn't a hologram, but they had like a big like screen, and like I remember Steven Tyler being on it. And, like it's supposed to, be like, oh, he's really there because it's like life size and all that.
Fucking
it sucked.
kill yourself.
Okay, all right, so I got it right here. Not too long ago, Universal. It'd be great actually is if they did like the Tower of Terror, but they called it Love in an Elevator. Not too long ago, Universal Orlando Resort broke the news that the Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket would eliminate a significant portion of its onboard music selection options for guests, leaving only a handful of songs to choose from when riding the roller coaster. The song list allowed guests to choose from a variety of 30 different songs from various genres before reaching the top hat on the coaster. The list has been reduced to 5 songs. You want to hear what the songs are that you can...
If there's a single Aerosmith, I'm burning it to the ground.
There are no Aerosmith on here.
Thank God.
Yeah, I also agree. I hate Aerosmith very, very much. We were just talking earlier. I love the movie Armageddon, and it's a testament to how much I love that movie. That the theme
That you
song...
listen to that fucking
10-year-old
terrible
me
song.
fucking hated that
Hated
song.
it. Just fucking... I felt like just embarrassed.
36-year-old me hates it probably a little more.
Equally, if not more. I don't want to miss one smile. Just shut the fuck up. Okay, so the 5 songs that you can choose from on the Hollywood Rip Ride Roarin' Roller Coaster Rocket. No, the Hollywood...
And by the way, if you say like, Dream On's a good song, you shut up. Shut
that
up.
was a different singer than Steven Tyler. Steven Tyler doesn't sing that one.
It doesn't matter.
Really?
Yeah, that was a different iteration of Aerosmith.
It doesn't
did not know
matter.
that.
Yeah.
Still a bad song. Well,
What
that's,
about
all.
the,
That's all I wanted to say.
Aerosmith,
What
okay.
was the faux hip hop one they did?
Walk This Way?
They did Walk
Yeah,
This Way
thank
with
you.
Run
That wasn't
DMC.
faux hip hop. That was like those fusing. They were fusing.
Yeah, Fusion. Okay.
They
sure.
literally break through the wall in the
Run
fucking-
Run
the music
DMC
video.
I don't think
wrote
I've
a
ever seen
song. Run DMC wrote a song that sampled that sampled Aerosmith guitar part, and they wrote a rap song to it, and then they did a fusion song which made it worse just by way of having fucking
Steven Tyler.
by having Aerosmith in it. They
Steven
just
Tyler's
used
the fucking worst.
yeah.
We could actually do an episode on how much Steven Tyler sucks. Do you know he like abandoned his fucking daughter for most of her life? Like,
just to come back and
Yeah.
put her in his music videos when she was.
Yeah, when she was like 16 or
Yeah.
17, be like, be a sexy girl and
Yeah.
fucking like wash this
Does that
car.
surprise you? How many songs of his
fucking
are about
creep.
sexy girls? Wasn't he the one who had a mom like sign over rights to her daughter so he could take her across state lines
Yeah,
during
Steven
tour?
Tyler.
And the girl was like 16 years old.
Yeah,
Ugh.
What a fucking
Yeah, and he
piece
was
of
like
shit.
38.
I already did not like the man.
Yeah, Liv Tyler was
You're not-
raised in part by musician Todd Rundgren instead of Steven Tyler. Does anybody know Todd Rundgren?
Yeah, it
No?
doesn't bring anything to mind.
Well, look him up. Okay, so the songs that you could choose
What do
from...
we're doing things that people don't know on this podcast. Why are you making more work for them? And
Okay.
me also.
Didn't he get fired from Aerosmith?
Todd Rundgren? No.
No,
different guy.
it was Steven Tyler. I think they kicked him out.
But he's...
Or he retired or
Well,
something.
no,
I don't know.
they just all stopped.
Yeah, I
Aerosmith-
think they just
I mean,
quit.
good. They should have.
End of an
40 years ago.
Aerosmith.
Yeah. End of an Aerosmith, you stupid asshole.
Okay, so Todd Rundgren wrote the song "I Saw the Light." You hear that? When I saw the light in your eyes.
Oh, okay, yeah. Why did he raise her?
I was seeing her mom after Steven Tyler fucking
Oh,
abandoned
okay,
her. So
okay,
she was like, Todd Rundgren is a fucking great musician, though. That's good shit.
Well,
You know
I
that
mean,
song
sure.
"Hello, It's Me"? Hello, it's me.
No, but now I have Lionel Richie in my head.
I've been there for a long, long time. No?
Yes, I think so.
All right.
I'm done talking about Todd Rundgren.
None of those songs are on the Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket. the 5 songs that are remaining to listen to on the tallest roller coaster in Universal Studios Orlando are "Welcome to the Black Parade" by My Chemical Romance,
Jesus Christ.
"Humble" by Kendrick Lamar,
What?
which I can actually see be kind of a fun listen.
That's not a roller coaster song, though. Like, you need. I love that. I mean,
That
You
whole
know-
album rules, but it's not a
Yeah.
roller coaster.
Well, I'll tell you what is.
Kendrick's great. Don't
I'll
get
tell
me
you
wrong.
what's
but
absolutely a roller coaster experience song in the club/electronica genre. "Sandstorm" by Darude.
Okay.
You know?
Yes.
Yes. You know that one, right?
Of course I know that one.
I don't know that one.
You don't know Sandstorm?
No.
You know Sandstorm.
How does it go?
Oh my God. Well, it's
When
got a
the
little like
sandstorm
no.
is
Now I
down.
can't. Now I can't think of it. Now I can't think of it off the top of my head.
Sandstorm in the
Continue.
sky.
Continue with the.
Sandstorms get older.
You're just doing
We're
fucking
just doing
landslide.
No,
landslide.
it's sandstorm.
Sandstorm brought it down.
Okay, actually, I Garrett. Are you playing this right now?
Yeah, but I can't. We don't have the rights to this, so I can only do a
I
few
think
seconds.
you can play. Yeah,
I-
like-
Okay.
That's the one.
All right. Mortal Kombat.
oh yeah. Okay, I know
Yeah.
that one.
Okay. The one that I would absolutely listen to, and I'm thinking I might, seeing as it's probably not going to last through 2025, and my brother-in-law and I have kind of pledged to go to do
was,
all of the roller
Mr. Bowen's
coasters
phone.
at Universal.
Oh.
Waterloo by ABBA.
Okay.
You know that one? Waterloo.
Yes, but
I was
why?
defeated and you won the war.
That's not a roller coaster.
That
what
is
the fuck.
110% a roller coaster
Like-
song. That's the one that I want to listen to on a roller coaster.
I
You
don't
need
know.
like squealing 80s guitar, like
Yeah.
kind of what we played at the beginning.
Yeah.
with
Like
the
that's what
opening.
you need on a roller coaster.
But here,
Like heavy fucking drums.
I
and-
think actually the number one
Mm-hmm.
to play on this is their final selection. Man, I Feel Like a Woman by Shania Twain.
Jesus fucking Christ.
You crest in, it's like bam, 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 woo. You ready, girls?
You know, my feeling is if it wasn't like on an 80s soundtrack,
Fucking absurd.
then don't put it on a roller coaster. You know, like
a Florida-
anything off
yeah.
the Karate Kid, or
I'm with
you already mentioned Top Gun. You know, we could do this all day.
The Karate Kid would have been, you're the best.
Yeah, that could go on a roller coaster.
But okay, so this is fun. A Florida couple is accusing Universal Studios of being responsible for traumatic brain injury suffered on the Hollywood Ride Roaring rocket roller coaster.
Rectum Ripper.
Rectum Ripper. The Hollywood rectum ripping red
Rip
red,
roaring,
red rocket.
rip roaring rocket rectum.
But one of them suffered a traumatic brain injury on one of its roller coasters, ostensibly from head trauma, but I think it might be because they had to listen to any of these songs. But hi-yo. Okay.
But sometimes Riley likes to take a real long walk. You know, he's like, "Hey, come look at this," and you're like, "Well, what are we gonna go look at?" And he's like, "No, just follow me. I'm gonna show you."
I mean,
and then you take this long walk, and then he's like, "Look at that," and you're like, "Yeah, that's pretty cool. We could have driven here, but this is a walk, I guess." We took.
okay, I'm so fucking what? You want blood? You want bloodbath? Is that what you're looking for? Or do you want me to just let's stop having fun here? Let's talk
That's why
about
I showed
let's
up.
talk about dead kids. Let's
Oh,
talk about
God.
children getting murdered.
Yes, I'm here.
Let's talk about Roger Rabbit's cartoon spin.
Okay.
That's a thing.
On September 22nd of the year 2000.
Of 2000.
Was a
Wow.
thing.
Roger Rabbit lasted that long.
Fuck yeah.
The movie came out in what, 91?
I thought it was in the
That sounds
80s.
about right. I think it's like 88, 89.
Yeah.
Actually, I have to look it up. I don't want to look it up.
It's like I
It's
grouped
around
that
there.
in with like Beetlejuice and Back to the Future.
Yeah, that's
era.
all part
Back
of
to
the
the Future
same-
was like 84.
That's all like that same shit though. Like that as when we were kids, we were growing up, like everything being VHS or
1988.
syndication. 1988, yeah. So
Was Roger?
Roger Rabbit, yeah. But like everything being VHS tapes or syndication on TV, you know, everything felt fresh. I've talked about this a number of times. Like when I was young, when I was like 10 years old, fucking Ghostbusters was 10 years old, and I thought of that as an ancient movie.
Yeah.
And now I think of like a 10-year-old movie, and it's fucking just happened.
Well, there also wasn't a lot different filming wise from 1980 to now. There wasn't
Yeah, it's all
like,
just-
it wasn't like the CGI shit didn't start coming until
Film effects, like
till
yeah.
till later 90s, early 2000s. So I mean, like basically all of your effects from like the early 80s to the late 90s were pretty much the same.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, fucking Roger Rabbit rules. You can still watch that shit and be like, yeah, that's fun. But maybe a 4-year-old boy named Brandon Zucker would disagree
Okay.
because he fell out of the ride on Roger Rabbit's cartoon spin and was dragged underneath a car, causing serious injuries, cardiac arrest, and brain damage. Now,
Jesus.
what had happened was this young man was a little too small for the ride.
Sure.
And there is an inversion in it. Or no, I'm sorry. No, not an inversion. You can run 2 rides simultaneously. It was an inside ride, right? And one car goes over another one's tracks during the course of this.
Sure.
Right? So what happened was this kid and his family got on the ride in some different ones. And at one point, the kid fell out, fell 40 feet onto the tracks of another car, which contained his father and brother.
Stop.
And they then ran the child over.
Oh, my God.
Yes.
What?
On October 7th, 2000, Disneyland changed its emergency policy and began instructing ride operators to call 911 first instead of the Disney Security Center in order to speed emergency staff
what a
to
novel
any
idea.
incident on park property.
Well,
Records showed that more than 5 minutes passed between the time the victim fell out of the ride vehicle and when emergency personnel were contacted.
Right. And then you got, average 7-minute response time.
A Disney spokesman claimed that the timing of the policy change and this incident were coincidental.
Oh, yeah, just,
Didn't you say...
It happened on September 22nd.
we were talking about this anyway.
The policy change was on October 7th. They're like, no, it's a crazy coincidence.
Honestly, I feel like it's worse that it took 2 weeks. Who do you have to run that up the fucking flagpole to?
In January 2002, Disney settled with the victim's family based on the cost of the victim's continuing medical care and suffering. Disney was not required to accept blame. So they settled. They paid for the care.
That's what they care about.
It wasn't our fault. It wasn't our fault that a 4-year-old boy fell out of our ride.
Jesus
Disney.
Well, they didn't want to publicly accept blame.
Well, the victim never fully recovered from his injuries and died on January 26, 2009 at the age of 13.
That kid going for that long?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yep. Well, Disney paid for his care. Wasn't their fault, though.
Was he?
This is before they had Disney Plus, and you
you
signed away those.
You
Right.
signed
Maybe
away
that's
your
probably
ability
why.
to-
Like, fuck, if we'd had that 4-year-old sign to say that if I die on this ride, it's
Yeah,
not
if we,
our fault.
if we had,
This is why I steal Disney Plus.
if we had terms of service that would allow us to do whatever we want without any repercussions, then this would have never happened.
Hey, it's not just the company Disney that kills wantonly at its parks. Sometimes it's the guests.
Go on.
On March 7th, 1981, a private party at Tomorrowland turned into chaos when a fight broke out that ended with Disneyland's first murder. Bum, bum, bum. Anyway, so 18-year-old Mel C. Yorba of Riverside was stabbed to death by 28-year-old James O'Driscoll of San Diego.
The kid who was stabbed to death was how old?
18.
18.
A lot of kids die at Disney. Let's keep that in mind. Most of the victims here are going to be children because they're more likely to die stupidly. Not everyone's going to be a child, though.
I mean, so far it sounded like a whole lot of negligence.
Yeah. And this one's not. This one's actually the opposite of negligence. This one's intentional stabbery.
That's why they call it murder. That's why they made a whole different word for it.
Knifeism is a different.
That's why they made a whole different word for it.
You can't be negligent when you're knifering somebody. So, Mel C. Yorba of Riverside, 18, was stabbed to death with 28-year-old James O'Driscoll of San Diego shortly after 10 p.m. Goddamn O'Driscolls.
James O'Driscoll?
Yeah, look at O'Driscolls. You can't trust them.
What is it? Driscoll like a German name?
Oh, but it's O. O hyphen O apostrophe Driscoll.
My father moves to Ireland in let's call it 1945-ish, and we changed our name. We didn't want the bad connotation behind Driscoll just by itself, so we did like a little change for O'Driscoll.
So this fucking guy stabs the shit out of this kid. The knife wound pierced his heart, diaphragm, and liver, leaving him virtually no chance of survival.
Jesus.
Yeah,
The Anaheim Fire Department was not notified of the stabbing. Instead, he was taken to Palm Harbor Hospital in Garden Cove in the back of a Disneyland van.
Stop.
Accompanied by a park nurse and 2 security
What
guards.
the fuck?
Meanwhile, authorities found O'Driscoll hiding in the bushes of Adventureland almost 2 hours after the stabbing, and he was taken into custody.
He was enjoying a Guinness and talking about how much he loves the Blarney Stone.
That's some bullshit.
And on May 6, 1983, O'Driscoll was convicted on a single second-degree murder charge and was sentenced to 16 years in prison.
Second degree, it wasn't.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. That's not premeditated.
Yeah, that's I'm fucking tired of Disneyland. Let's talk about something else.
You have been going real hard on Disney. Well, you did some Universal too.
Well, he brought a knife into Disneyland. Like,
how did he get a knife into Disneyland?
Well, it's
They're
premeditated,
pretty-
I would say.
Well, yeah, but this was the 80s. This was 1981.
Okay.
So it was fine if you had a handgun or a knife or came in with a big bag of cocaine.
Like a little pocket knife or like a big ass.
I don't know. He stabbed the shit out of this kid, so I don't know.
Punctured his diaphragm and some other stuff.
I want to fuck with Universal more, but in comparison, Universal Studios has been like incredibly mild. With the exception of the 9 backlot fires. But pretty much all the worst accidents.
Why is shit catching on fire so much?
They're filming stuff. You know, even in Universal.
Do they do actual
In
filming?
Universal Hollywood and in Universal Orlando, they film on those backlots.
Do they
It's
really?
not just props and shit. Like if you go to like Halloween Horror Nights, you know, you get to go back there.
Well, like you remember the Nickelodeon
What kind of
thing?
nights?
Yeah.
That's where they filmed all that shit.
Oh shit! So
The what?
Universal Studios.
Do you remember that? Like all the Nickelodeon shows with the slime or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Well, I mean, there was like a Nickelodeon zone or
So
whatever.
if they did like Double Dare or some shit.
Yeah,
it was
that's
in
where-
the-
that was
that's
filmed.
where they-
That was
That's
filmed in Orlando.
Fucking cool. Well, the last
They used
time
to say that at the end of the show. Filmed in Orlando.
Yeah.
at the last time that I was at Universal, actually, I looked up some of the movies that were filmed there. There's some cool shit. There's like a John Goodman movie called Matinee that was filmed there, and some other like stuff from when I was a kid.
Okay.
Like they filmed a good deal of things. So you know, you get your props, your pyrotechnics. And then Universal Hollywood has the same sort of deal, and shit catches on fire. Things crash into each other.
Imagine living on the coast in Southern California, and you sign a movie deal, and you're like, "All right, when are we getting this started?" And, you know, you're ready to go to Universal Hollywood, and they're like, "Oh, we're actually
We're doing
filming this in
Orlando."
Orlando, Florida."
You're like, no.
You call your agent immediately, like, "How do I get out of this? What do I need to do? Throw myself down a flight of stairs? What do I got to do?"
What the fuck? What do I gotta get out of here?
I fucking hate Orlando. And I'm a native Floridian. I've been here my whole life.
It is one of the all-time worst fucking.
It's awful.
Piece
The
of shit.
only-
And
cities
my
cities
wife
I've
is
ever been
always
to.
finding excuses for us to go
Dude,
there.
I'm the same way.
Dude.
Let's not complain about our wives on this.
I mean, she's great. Don't get me- I'm not finding excuses. We always like have these like deals or whatever.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
I mean-
I'm not going back. Every time I drive to whatever fucking hotel or whatever,
I don't know what
I'm
it
like,
is.
I'm not going back.
Anytime you have to go to Orlando, it's going to cost you $100. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Even if you're not doing anything, if you're like there to drop something off, you're going to lose $100 on the way.
I have a wife who always wants us to go up to Savannah and eat delicious food and walk around and have drinks and
What
see
the
live
fuck did he-
music.
Yeah.
and-
Yeah, why don't you kick rocks?
My wife is great.
Our wives are great.
No, they're awesome.
Yeah.
We keep ending
Yeah,
up in.
sure. Sounds
it's,
like
it's
it.
Not,
Sounds like it.
It's not.
Oh,
my
sorry.
wife.
My wife hates. My wife is the worst because she wants to have fun with me at these like fucking
Yeah.
hard to get to world-renowned
The only
theme parks.
reason-
We just keep ending up there.
The
And
only
it's
reason
getting there.
Orlando is anything is because fucking Walter Disney bought acres and acres and acres and acres of unwanted swamp in the middle of fucking Florida and said, "Let's put some stuff here," I guess.
Well, fuck him.
I mean, yeah, for so many reasons.
Yeah, but like the Universal, the Universal incidents that have happened have been just, altogether pretty fucking mild. You got your a tram collided with a sign that was protruding onto the roadway during a backlot tour, or another tram during a backlot tour crashed into a railing. Happened a couple times.
Yeah,
Like
it's
some
just
construction
tram operators are
get
drunk.
Some construction incidents. This one's a little rough. On April 3rd, 2015, a man fatally shot himself in a designated smoking area near the attraction Despicable Me Minion Mayhem.
Can you imagine being that's the last thing that you see? Fucking minions.
fucking after a day of his fucking kids dragging him around the goddamn park. The minions are the last fucking straw. He walked to the smoking area, pulled a gun out of where? Who the fuck knows? And just said, "This is enough, guys."
But apparently he could
Boom.
he got a gun into the park because they didn't have to have metal detectors back then.
When was this?
I mean, this is 2015, yeah.
What?
But yeah, a lot of this shit is like, a girl injured her leg while stepping in front of a moving platform. One of the escalators from inside the park malfunctioned. Shit like that. You get like the City Walk area has a little bit of a problem every now and then. Suspect was fatally shot by Los Angeles Police Department. Pops up a lot.
What?
City Walk in Hollywood, yeah.
Universal.
Power outages.
Well, I feel like City Walk you don't have to, because I've gone to the City Walk here, has House of Blues. Is that is that Universal?
Yeah.
The Hard Rock is downtown Disney, or is it?
Well, House of Blues is Disney, and then the Hard Rock is Universal.
Is Universal. Okay. But I feel like I've gone to both, but both of those you don't have to like. They're not in the park proper. They're like on the outskirts of the park, so they almost operate like.
It's like Disney Springs.
Yeah. They almost operate like little fucking shopping plazas. Like,
exactly.
Fucking, except for Universal and Disney are making all the goddamn money.
The Halloween Horror Nights have incidents every now and then. One guy in
what kind of nights?
The Hollywood Horror Nights.
What kind of nights?
Universal's Halloween Horror Nights.
How many whores?
Horror. Sorry, horror. The Horror Night. Halloween Horror Nights.
Do they have just regular horror nights that aren't around Halloween?
Valentine's Day Horror Nights.
I don't want to wait until October. I'm just finding out about this.
In 1986, a guy in Universal Studios Hollywood was a scare actor named Paul Rebald Brooks, who was supposed
he's one of those fuck asses running up on people with a chainsaw.
Yeah.
All right.
He was supposed to scare the attendees at the Terror Tram. Yeah.
And he got beaten to death, I hope.
No, he fell between two of the tram cars and was crushed to death.
Whoops.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yikes. But they put the Halloween event on a hiatus until 6 years later. But this was in 1986. This was the Fright Nights event, and after they revamped and made it safer, then it reopened as Halloween Horror Nights. Debuted in 1992. But yeah, in Orlando, you got some people fucking with the scare actors, shit like that. It's fine.
I went one time when I was in high school, and I almost punched a guy who ran up, because, all right, for those of you who aren't listening, you don't live anywhere near fucking, Hollywood or Orlando, Florida, and you've never been to Universal's Halloween Horror Nights. It's basically, they turn all the rides throughout the park, and then they add extra stuff. You just have call it 13 or something, like different haunted houses that you go into. And then you can still ride certain rides. They Halloween them up, whatever.
Yeah, it's fucking cool.
But
it's fucking spooky. It's cool.
I
got werewolves and shit.
I was like 17 years old, and my girlfriend at the time and I went, and we're just walking through the park, and you feel like I've never been before or since. You're just walking through this fucking park, and you're like, okay, where should we go? And you're like trying to have a conversation. You're trying to navigate, because these places are fucking enormous. And you're like, how do I, where should go? Where should we go? What should we do? And suddenly, out of some little fucking bullshit alleyway that they've constructed, it's not always there. There's just a random alleyway, and some prick in some crazy bloody smock with a fucking crazy hair and face makeup and a chainsaw runs out on you. And I
knew it was going to be a chainsaw.
Hey Bart, do you like my new hockey mask and chainsaw?
Bro, I turned around and squared up on this dude and was like ready to fucking buck, dude. And I was like, and my girlfriend's like, no, what is he? Just a guy. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? And he left. He didn't say anything back to me. He just turned around and went back in his little alleyway. And I was like,
he went home to his wife, and he's like, honey, you won't believe what this guy did.
He went back behind the Minions ride and shot himself.
I actually, going through those the Halloween Horror Night stuff, I am completely nonplussed by any of the scares. I mean, I might get ooh, but I've never felt the slightest amount of oh shit, this is dangerous.
I just hadn't been there before. We had just walked into the park,
mostly,
so I hadn't seen anybody else be,
when the scare
targeted
actors,
by this sort of guerrilla tactics.
When the scare actors come out and they're like, wow, they're like, hey, how are you? and a lot of the time they'll be like, good man, having a good night, having fun.
Yeah, well, so they
love that shit.
My anticipation, like I said, we had just walked in. My anticipation is we go to different haunted houses, we go on some rides, we have a good time. It's nighttime, whatever.
You're not expecting to be flanked.
Yeah, and then suddenly some, just loud noise and guy running at me, and I'm like, instinctually, the only thing I know to do right now is to just punch hard.
There's a million videos of people in haunted houses and shit fucking just decking.
Yeah, well, that's...
But the best reaction that I've gotten from any of the, because I go to these things, I've been to Halloween Horror Nights a bunch of times. I don't know why I keep going. It's because of my wife. I keep going to these parks, but it's weird for me to be there. I don't feel like it's my setting.
Sure.
But when I'm walking through these haunted houses, I just see these guys as actors because it's fun to me.
Well,
Like, I don't
what
see
they
the
are.
spooky
I mean, that's
angle.
probably the right way to do it.
Yeah, and I'm not mocking. I understand that other people get a different take out of this experience, but like I was raised in like theater and shit, and my fucking family worked. And
okay.
I'm not saying that like that. I mean, like I
Oh, they're not real actors.
God, I understand. I understand that it's a set. Is what
Quote
I'm trying to
Macbeth to me.
say. No, they're legitimate.
Riley's in the middle of fucking Universal.
No, it's just like the stage.
You have the skull already. Quote Macbeth. Do it, damn it.
I'm saying the stage.
Prove you're a real actor.
Saying the stage magic angle of it is not lost on me. Like, I mean, I'm looking at how they're getting in and out of stuff, and like their like exits and cues and stuff. Like, I like that kind of shit. I like the mechanics behind how these performances are set up, right? But the best reaction that I got from any of my like, "Hey, how are you?" Was I was at just this past year. We went to the one that was fucking Ghostbusters Frozen Planet.
Oh yeah, because they're themed every year.
Yeah,
right?
this one had like this house was themed as like the Ghostbusters from the newest Ghostbusters movie. I mean, honestly, there was some cool shit because obviously whoever designed it was a fan of the original movies, so like you kind of walk through some of like the original movie like setups, which was pretty cool. But the best one for me was
Dan Aykroyd getting a blowjob.
that was it. That was the best part of the room. His eyes
Just
crossed.
Dan Aykroyd on a bench with his eyes crossed and his pants
Hear me
unbuckled.
out. It's gonna be a laugh riot. They're gonna love it. You just get, I think that I should get blown by a ghost. You ever?
I said, yeah.
quick-
I sent you a thing about that.
Yeah, no, quick. But I've been making that joke for
Yeah,
forever.
I know you
but,
have.
like,
That's why I sent it to you.
Quick digression about Dan Aykroyd. Did you ever see the commercials he did for like Crystal Head Vodka?
No.
He owns the company Crystal Head Vodka,
Yeah.
and it's based around like the South American crystal skulls.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing that the fucking Indiana Jones movie got based on, but like it's just him like disheveled, ranting like in the early 1800s 6 crystal skulls were discovered all across South America. The psionic energy used to create such a thing, and then the juxtaposition and he just looks like a fucking madman. So whenever I think of him pitching the blowjob scene in Ghostbusters, like, no, you don't understand. You see, she lives in the realm of the dead, but she wants to taste the living. You know? The best one that best reaction I got from any of these actors was at that house because a guy dressed as Vigo the Gozerian from fucking the second movie.
Vigo the Carpathian.
No, it was
Carpathian.
It was Carpathian.
Carpathian.
So Vigo, he comes out and he looks great. This guy's fucking decked out. And
All hail Vigo!
That's one of my
Try to
favorite
remember
parts.
that.
well, no, I pointed at him and I pointed at my wife and I went, It's Vigo. and the guy looked at me and he pointed and he went, hey.
Dressed as Vigo. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was so good. I felt fucking so high on that for a while. But okay, so Universal doesn't have that many.
God, I feel for the people who listen to this that have never seen the Ghostbusters movies. Go watch the fucking Ghostbusters
come on, do
movie,
it.
first of all.
First
1 and 2. Yeah, 1 and 2.
You could get away with just one.
Boston makes me feel good.
You put the two songs together all the time. Busted Makes Me Feel Good is from the Ghostbusters theme from the first movie.
Yeah.
What you started off singing was Bobby Brown's, I don't even know the name of the song.
It's the one from when they're on the Statue of Liberty, right?
The second.
No, we talked about that in like our last episode.
Oh, fuck.
The Statue of Liberty is in the second one.
Yes, but the song that they're singing is Your love keeps lifting me.
Yeah. The Bobby Brown song plays. Listen, the Bobby Brown plays. The Bobby Brown song
Okay, you're
plays
right.
after the guy from the museum kidnaps Sigourney Weaver, and then the whole. What museum are they at? I can't remember which museum it is. It's a famous museum.
I actually don't know.
And the whole thing
York,
wraps up in.
It's not the Met, is it?
The whole thing wraps up in ectoplasm, right? Remember the purple ectoplasm, pink ectoplasm?
It's
that goes
not
up
ectoplasm.
over the whole
It's
thing?
just they call it a pink slime. But I get what you're saying.
That
It's
wraps
an energy-based
up
slime.
and makes a
it can
hard
feel
shell.
your energy,
It makes a hard shell
flubber.
around the. Did you say like Flipper?
like flubber.
Oh, like Flipper, like Flipper the dolphin. He can feel your energy. Just let him fuck you. You guys never heard that Flipper was like a very sexually aggressive dolphin?
No.
Yeah, he was always trying to fuck. Like for real, I'm not trying to make a joke. Dolphins are like that.
We're talking about the original one from the TV show or the Elijah Wood one?
I think the original one.
Probably both.
Yeah.
I'll have to check it out.
Then speaking of busted makes me feel good. Flipper was all about it. Although, maybe the one with Elijah Wood.
We talked about the
very.
We talked about the fucking dolphin,
very feminine-looking young boy
jerk off experiments, didn't we? Dolphin LSD jerk off experiments.
The guy with the guy.
You know about these ones, Drew?
I know about the lady in the house.
That's the one they're talking about. Yeah.
The guy with the house that was partially submerged.
Yeah, and
for
like
the dolphins.
the psychonaut who would like be in like a suspension tank in the attic, fucking tripping out on LSD, like trying to psychically communicate with the dolphin while she's jacking it off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember if I've read that.
I feel
or
like
if
that's
you
a different episode.
Excitedly told me about it at one point.
Drew, you're not gonna believe it.
Do you like my new chainsaw mask?
All right, so getting past Universal, there are more theme parks all out there. Like we still got like half hour, right?
Oh yeah, easily.
No. So, pardon me. If you think about the other theme parks scattered throughout the United States, one of the big overarching like umbrellas for that is Six Flags.
Mm-hmm.
Six Flags, fucking everywhere. I grew up near.
What's the big one in Ohio?
That's Cedar Point, Sandusky, Ohio. That's the first one that I ever went to. That was like my home base because I'm from Detroit, so like it was like the home. It's like 3 hours or something ish, not quite. But it's like 3 hours to get there. Yeah. So I spent my like 13th birthday or something.
There's another big one like Cedar Point. Well, not like Cedar Point. It has fewer roller coasters, I think, in Kansas City that I went to one time.
I don't know about
that. I can't remember the name of it.
I know there's Six Flags in like outside of Springfield, Massachusetts. I know there's
Atlanta had one, right? Do they still have that?
Atlanta has
Six Flags over Atlanta.
I think it's still there. Yeah. But and then right in that area, you've also
I don't feel like those places go anywhere.
You got the Wild Adventures right in that area too.
Yeah, I don't know.
Somewhere out near Atlanta. Have you ever been to the Six Flags or Wild Adventures?
I've been to Wild Adventures, never been to Six Flags.
What's that like? You get to shoot a lion or something?
I don't know. I was like 10. I went with Jay Ryan. I don't remember it whatsoever.
I always assume like Wild Adventures is just like they have like deadly animals that you get to hunt.
No, I think it was just rides.
Or are they hunting you? You want to make it a real wild adventure.
It's the most dangerous game.
Yeah, it's we're letting people, the parties of 10 at a time in,
Make
and
sure
there is an angry cheetah in there.
Make
so
sure
good
you
luck.
scan through the user agreement and check the box before you go in. We will not be held liable for being
Everyone gets a
cheetahs.
tranquilizer gun. 6 shots. That's all you got. 10 of you. One angry cheetah. Good luck. Bye.
I would go to that park. That sounds fucking baller.
I fucking would too.
That would be great.
10 acres. You got 10 acres, so who knows where he is?
I don't think that's what it was. I don't really remember it. But,
I don't think that's what it was.
Busch Gardens.
What kind of rides you got? Like, a rhino.
Busch Gardens. Busch Gardens was a good one. In my youth, Busch Gardens was my shit.
Busch Gardens, home of the Animorphs.
Wait, what?
Okay. We've talked about this, I think, somewhere.
You and I, this is your theory.
This
is
your
the garden
theory.
is based on Busch Gardens.
Yeah, my theory. The garden.
This is a Riley original.
I'm the fucking Animorphs.
He's the other Animorphs guy.
Okay.
We've talked about that. I actually started listening to the audiobooks because of him. I got a few on Audible now.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, because they always talk about like going to the garden, which is a zoo / amusement park.
That's where they acquire
right?
the
And
dangerous
also,
animals.
They're right on the coast,
Yeah.
right? Because of Tampa, and then it's Tampa, right? It's Busch Gardens. Yeah, and then they never encounter any cold weather throughout the entire series because it's like obviously like a
tropical climate.
I guess you never read the last book.
The last book was it snowing or something?
No, but they confirm where they are.
Busch Gardens.
No.
Tampa?
No. Do you want to know?
Yeah.
They're in California.
California.
Haha, fucking nerd.
Yeah, but there's also, think about it. There's mountains like near.
The fuck kind of bullshit?
Sorry, man.
Anyway, so Six Flags theme parks are more prolific and operated.
It's a great theory. I just ruined his fucking day.
You just ruined his theory, which will ruin at least 3 days for him.
Six Flags theme parks, right, are more prolific than your basic Disneys or Universals. I mean, Universal's
there are more of them.
Yeah,
yes.
Universal's got like 4 locations, I think. You got Universal Hollywood, Orlando, and then there's
Where the fuck else?
Japan, and
is there a Universal Japan?
There's Universal Japan, yeah.
Interesting. I know there's a Disney in Japan.
And somewhere else. Yeah, but Disney's the same deal. They've got
Disney
multiple,
Tokyo,
they got
Euro
multiple
Disney,
parks,
yeah.
and then yeah, all that shit.
Where's Euro Disney? Paris?
Who gives a
France,
fuck?
I think. I think it's France.
If I want to go to Europe, I'll go to Epcot.
I don't understand people use. So I have a friend who sends me. Shout out Davis. He sends me, and I don't know why. He follows this page on Instagram that is a group of how do they put it? Plus sized women who frequent theme parks. And so all of their videos are advice for other portly ladies who want to enjoy the theme parks without letting their I don't know, what do you want to call it? Without letting their big fat asses get in the way of them enjoying the park.
Get out of control.
Yeah,
what are we saying here?
Yeah. It's fat girls giving other fat girls advice. Sorry if you are a large woman, but we love you.
What do they call the page? Is it what do they call it?
I don't know, but he sends me these videos all the time, and I'm like, well, because
your friend
he knows
has a fetish for larger ladies.
It's not even that. He knows that Disney adults creep me out.
Yeah,
and so
creepy.
That's really what it is. So
so are they also just like super excited about
they're wearing
like
the ears
Disney?
and stuff. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. And then it's also like, this is our guide for plus-sized women to Disney. And they're like, hey. And their gums go all the way up to here. And, it's just, ugh. So he sends me these all the time, and I don't know where I was going with this.
I have no problem with plus-sized women at all. Actually, it's probably one of my preferences. But like
Disney
adults creep me the fuck out.
It's weird.
In fact, adults that are enthusiastic about things freak me out in general.
Like anything?
Like, I mean, I guess if you were going to be like...
Is that what it is? Oh my God, is that my problem?
Just think if okay.
I don't get excited about things. And I get weirded out when other people get excited
If
about
I was
things.
going to be let on to like a remaining segment of like the set of Blade Runner, I would be fucking
Would you be like
stoked? I'd be like, oh my God.
You would be giddy about it?
I wouldn't. I don't know about giddy, but I would be like, oh shit, this is fucking cool.
You'd still be an adult.
I'd still be an adult about it, but I mean, inside I'd be screaming like a little. But I'd be a grown adult man and be like, "This is a phenomenal experience."
But you've had 30-something years.
Well, sure.
Yeah,
tamp
exactly.
that down.
So if you get an adult person that walks and sees that there's a new Tweety Bird project or some shit, and like, oh my God, Tweety!
Well,
Like,
those are
the
Looney Tunes
fuck?
adults. That's a different thing. But
Creepy. The only Looney Tune adults that I tolerate.
they all work as CNAs
are the
at
cholo
hospital.
gangsters that wear the fucking Bugs Bunny with like a gun and a cool hat shirts, you know? Daffy Duck is like
he's
cholo.
wearing like like ankle length shorts.
Yeah, I
and
love that shit.
Backwards hat.
Yeah, well, like a
and a wife beater.
like a New York Yankees jersey.
Yeah,
button up with Bugs Bunny like airbrushed on the back, smoking a cigar and like.
And he's wearing a backwards New York
holding
Yankees
like
hat,
an 8-ball of cocaine.
holding his ears down so they look almost like dreadlocks.
Yeah.
Cool.
Also, Miss Piggy just in there because there's no real delineation once you're airbrushing shit on jerseys. You guys know what I'm talking about. Like, I'm not making these up.
No, I know exactly.
These are
what
big
you're
dog shirts.
Hey, you want me to put Miss Piggy on there too? I can do both, Holmes.
So, Six Flags theme parks. Fuck. The Six Flags has a bunch of locations, and they've got like differing names. So they've bought a bunch of theme parks over the whole fucking country. Like Cedar Point wasn't originally a Six Flags property, and it eventually was bought out over time.
Okay,
but like Cedar Point was available in like 1870. Was when they opened.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Really?
they had like wooden roller coasters. I actually went on one of the last remaining wooden roller coasters. Not from the 1870s. Like,
Yeah, Busch Gardens used to have one for a long time, and they got rid of it.
Yeah, my first ever.
Dollywood has
one.
Yeah.
He's wearing a Dolly Parton shirt right now.
Dollywood's fucking incredible.
I've never been. I always wanted to go.
Blows all these other places out of the water. Fuck it, I'm serious.
Was that
awesome.
a fellatio joke? Come on, you're better than that, Drew.
When you walk into Dollywood, is it between two like big boobies?
No, but that would be a great idea.
That's how it should be.
She's a national treasure.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't dispute that.
But okay, so Cedar Point opened in Sandusky, Ohio in 1870, and it was rated the best amusement park in the world from 1997 to 2013. And it still boasts a wooden roller coaster called the Blue Streak that was built in 1964. That was the first roller coaster that I ever went on.
64 is not that impressive.
Scorpion.
Well, no, but it's made of wood.
Yeah, I just like if they had been like
Scorpion.
That was my first roller coaster.
Where was that?
Which is shit. I think it's at Busch Gardens actually.
Scorpion.
And it was my daughter's first roller
That's
coaster.
in.
I thought you were gonna say that was my daughter's middle name.
Charlotte Scorpion.
But I love Cedar Point. It's still to this day one of my favorite parks ever. I went there, on my birthday one year with it was like the color guard for the fucking marching band because I was in orchestra, like a fucking.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say you were in the color guard.
No, I was in orchestra, and you can't walk around with a fucking
flags
violin and play. And they weren't gonna just send the band and not the orchestra, so we had to do flag stuff, whatever. But
What do you mean you have to do flag stuff?
you know how it
The
is.
color guard, they like spin the flags. And
I
shit,
know
right?
you had to do that. You had to be.
Yeah, I
in
had
the
to do that
So
to-
I just asked you if you were in the color guard. You said no.
No, I was in the orchestra. They made us do flag stuff.
So you were in the color guard.
So you were in the color guard.
Okay, you want to call it that?
Forced into is the same as being into.
No.
No, slaves weren't slaves. What were they? Independent contractors.
Wow.
So forced into is still being a thing.
I don't want to talk about it. So, on June 21st, 2015, a 37-year-old man injured his right leg when the gates on the Raptor roller coaster in Cedar Point in Sandusky, Ohio, the loading platform, closed on him as he was boarding the ride. It resulted in a 4-inch long gash on his lower right leg. Now, this is just a little context because the gates for the Raptor ride, it has to be understood, close on your legs because this is a hanging ride where your legs run free, which is how on August 13th, 2015, a 45-year-old man attempting to retrieve a dropped cell phone in the ride's restricted area was killed after being struck in the back of the head by a passenger's foot.
I remember that. When was
yeah,
that?
I heard about that.
Yeah,
one.
that was 2015.
I remember that.
Park emergency crews attempted to revive the man, but he was eventually pronounced dead on the scene. Broke the shit out of the other person's leg.
Foot, yeah.
But crushed this guy's face when the roller coaster, wow, and fucking just booted him in the fucking head.
Jesus.
Yeah.
How fast do like modern roller coasters go?
Like
Like on
65,
average.
65, 70 miles an hour. Yeah.
Fast enough that you don't want your foot to hit anything.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I mean, you know.
Yeah,
it's
like no thanks on that one, you know?
It's like dropping a foot off of.
Yeah, I
6
think
stories
anywhere
and-
from like 50 to 80 miles an hour is normally where you're sitting on roller coasters.
In any case,
Fuckers go fast.
that's the good one from Cedar Point, Sandusky, Ohio.
Quote unquote good one.
The quote unquote good one.
You didn't touch on the so I didn't do the research for that. I started to and then you took over. But there were some kids, I want to say in like the 70s or something like that, on the People Mover tram in Disney that got off of the tram and were like getting like on top of the cars and jumping from car to car. And one of them fell in between and got dragged and killed. And then like years later, some kids like did it again and another fucking kid died.
Jesus.
If I remember right. I feel like I'm getting the basics of this correct, but yeah.
Here's another good one from Cedar Point in Sandusky, Ohio. The Gemini, which is a kind of a 2 trains running sort of situation. You get the
The 2 roller coasters that are
dueling dragons.
yeah.
4 people riding Gemini suffered injuries and were taken to a nearby hospital when 2 trains collided.
How?
I couldn't tell you. I think it was like
They've got to be timed where this one goes by before
exactly.
this one comes through,
Yeah,
and they
yeah.
were, oh wow.
And they all
Somebody on one platform hit go before like 15 seconds before the other person went, and they didn't know the implications of that.
Yeah, it went. Okay, so that's Cedar Point. But yeah, Six Flags has all kinds of fucking problems all the time because there's a bunch of independently owned parks that just operate under one big umbrella. So there is no way that, you know, looking at thousands and thousands, millions of moving parts, really, from like all your employees to constant maintenance to all this kind of shit, that one big company is going to be able to oversee that. So
If
it has
only
to
they
be-
charged every one of the thousands of people that come into the park every day hundreds of dollars, maybe they could pay engineers and maintenance to make sure that these things don't happen.
No, see,
I mean, I get the guy jumping into the restricted area to get his
Patrick, that's
fucking
not
cell phone.
That's not
but
what I'm saying. I'm saying that one big overarching company would get like too detached and it would get too feudal and weird to operate like this. So it has to be more of like a hands-on individual owner sort of a franchise deal. So that's how the Six Flags parks work. Like the Six Flags culture, it's not branded like Universal for the most part because it's, regional. And some of the parks don't even stay open throughout the whole year. So you got like, some operate just during the summertime, spring and summer. Some operate in like warmer climes. So they're open all year long. But it's just, it's very complicated. So there's an endless list of incidents that have happened at Six Flags parks, but that's mostly just because, every little thing, every fucking cut finger or small injury would be logged in hundreds of parks.
I mean, okay. I will say this. There was a time I trying to think of how to do this professionally, that I knew a person. I worked for a person who was, they were particularly sue-happy people to begin with, but they claimed that the wife claimed that she had received a traumatic brain injury from a specific park in Orlando, and that they had a lawsuit against that park. These people went on to tell me about many other lawsuits that they had, and then at some point threatened to sue me. So,
classic.
So my point being, I can see from the park's perspective, the litigious nature of people a lot of the time, and like every little thing, you can't sort of treat every little thing like a huge emergency. In the case of like the kid falling out of the car onto the tracks where his dad and brother fucking hit him with another car, and then you wait 5 minutes before you even call 911.
I see a lawsuit with
that's
that one.
That's so. I mean,
I think that's warranted.
So, and by the way, I'm almost never going to defend any billion-dollar fucking company when it comes to people who paid hard-earned fucking cash to go enjoy your amusements. It's on you to make sure nobody gets fucking hurt at your amusements, whether it's a fucking, boo-boo on their pinky or, or death. Now.
Wait, hold on a second. But then there's no profit. What are you talking about? You think that these companies
there's the proverbial rub, my boy.
These companies have to be responsible for every dickhole that fucking falls off of a fucking safety railing?
I know.
Right? How are they going to... How
are we ever going to...
Who's thinking of the investors?
How are we ever going to be profitable to our shareholders?
How are we going to increase third profit margins if every Tom, Dick, and Harry who runs over their own child on a Looney Tunes ride gets a fucking
Rabbit.
handout?
Oh my God. We live in a dystopian society. It's a fucking nightmare. Jesus.
Well, if you want to talk about a different society, too bad. Here we go.
The Midnight
Here
Society?
we go, Kansas City.
Is that the one you want to talk about? We already did that. We already talked about the Midnight Society.
Yeah, we did. That's kids' horror. No, I want to talk about verrückt, which is a German word meaning crazy or insane. It's a custom water coaster, water slide, roller coaster, water park slide. Located.
What the fuck? How many times can you use water and slide in describing one thing?
Why don't you slide?
Slide into my room.
There's a custom. Why don't you slide?
You were referencing the Goo Goo Dolls song,
it was,
right?
of course.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm gonna let it slide.
So verrückt, German meaning crazy or insane, was a custom water coaster, water slide park, located at the Schlitterbahn Kansas City Water Park.
That's the one I went to, the Schlitterbahn. That's Kansas City. I went there.
Oh my God, really?
I did. I swear to God. That's the one that I went to.
Well, a kid died. So, spoiler alert. It's Kansas City.
Welcome into the Schlitterbahn.
So verrückt was the height of a...
We are the O'Driscoll family, owners of the Schlitterbahn. Please enjoy.
Is a height of 168 feet and 7 inches. Verrückt became the world's tallest water slide when it opened on July 10th, 2014. Mm-hmm. It was featured on an episode of Extreme Water Parks on the Travel Channel on June 2014, shortly before the ride opened. Verrückt permanently closed in 2016.
Holy shit, wait. What year was I there?
Wait, you said you went on that?
I was on that, yeah.
It was only open from 2014 to 2016.
So it was a very small window.
I was
where you could ride the Death Slide.
Hang on, let me make sure, because I went on a water ride. I was 35, so that would have been no wait. I have to look at it based on of exes. Basically, I went with my ex.
Wow.
So,
which one?
Ayano.
Okay. So you're looking at like 7-8 years ago.
So we
Well, it closed at fucking
8 years ago.
yeah.
It would have been 15-16.
The year 15-16.
It would have been 15 or.
It was the year 15-16 at the Schlitterbahn.
Yes. No, it would have been 15 or 16. It would have been the summer of motherfucker. I have photos. Shit, I don't even need to fucking know. I got my phone to tell me.
You should just fucking delete all those photos.
Well, they're not. She's not. She's not.
Listen, I don't need to know
she's not
nothing about your exes and no
She's not
Schlitterbahn.
prominently featured in the photos, you dick. Yeah, I'm gonna let it slide. When did it close?
2016.
When in 2016?
It just says permanently closed. I can look. Hold on, I'm still looking.
I was there in June of 2016.
So
Hold on.
we don't even know what happened yet. Right?
I don't know what happened yet, but I did ride that ride, I'm pretty sure.
Let's see. It was demolished in November 2016.
Oh my God, I rode that fucking ride.
Yeah. Wow. There you go. So you rode verrückt. German meaning crazy or insane.
Oh, wow.
So.
So you narrowly escaped death by what?
Well, it was permanently closed in
5
2016
months.
following a fatal incident involving the decapitation of one Caleb Schwab, the 10-year-old son of Kansas state legislator Scott Schwab.
Jesus.
On August 7, 2016, Caleb Schwab, the 10-year-old son of Scott Schwab, died while riding verrückt. The raft he was riding went airborne during the ascent of the second
about this one
hump
too.
and struck a metal support in the netting, decapitating him.
Holy dicks.
The other 2 passengers, both women, were injured in the incident. One suffered a broken jaw, while the other suffered a facial bone fracture.
They
and
didn't
needed
weight
stitches.
the fucking raft down right.
Exactly. That is the exact issue. Whoever was working the raft put the kid right in the front and the
Yeah.
women in the back.
You have
so
a
that
minimum
the
and a
lift,
maximum weight.
when the bump happened and the lift hit it, they went, well,
Well, you can't. But so here's the thing: you can't. If you've been on any of those raft rides at any amusement park, they spin as they go down the thing. So you might start off in the back, you end up in the front,
Right.
you end up on the side, whatever. But like, there's a reason why. Like, if you've ever been on one, they very deliberately go, okay, you have to sit on this side. You are on the, and if you want to switch, they're like, no, you have to be over here.
It says
they'll
here-
tell you straight up.
It says here, reportedly, Caleb, who weighed 74 pounds, had been allowed to sit in the front of the raft rather than between the 2 women accompanying him.
Oh,
So it'd be like a
it's
3-person,
not a
like
round
a-
raft,
like a
it's not
flume, yeah.
yeah, it's not a round raft.
Yeah, one woman weighed 275 pounds and the other weighed 197 pounds.
So not small ladies.
That created an uneven weight distribution, which some of the experts concluded contributed to the raft going airborne. The total weight of 546 pounds was less than the maximum recommended weight of 550 by fucking 4 pounds. Engineers who inspected the ride also commented that the ride's netting used in areas where riders travel up to 70 miles per hour posed its own hazard because a rider moving at high speeds could easily lose a limb if they hit it. Their findings revealed that the
Jesus.
use of the metal brace and netting system in the design, along with the use of hook and loop straps to restrain the riders, violated guidelines set by a committee on amusement ride and devices. According to the guidelines, verrückt should have incorporated over-the-shoulder restraints.
Huh.
What was the ride called though, Patrick?
I don't remember that much about that park in general. It's all sort of a blur because this was the middle of like a 3-week road trip, right? 2-week road trip, I think. And we stopped because my ex has family in like just outside of Kansas City in Missouri. And so some of her cousins wanted us to all go to the amusement park, so a bunch of us went. But I mean, we had been like drinking, and so it's all very much a blur. But I don't know how many water rides.
But I do remember getting on verrückt.
No, I mean I remember
and fucking with the fucking with the front straps on one of these rafts.
I remember looking at him and being like, Psh, hook and loop. Are you serious? No, I remember going on a couple of roller coasters.
Pack in the back of the raft with sand. So that
It's going for a ride, bitch. I don't remember specifically anything about any of the the roller coasters. I do remember going on a water ride. I remember it being like a crazy fucking log flume, and I remember coming off of that bitch and being like, "Oh, it's cold," because I'm not used to being in this region
Kansas
of
City, Kansas.
Yeah, this region of the globe in ever, because I grew up in fucking Louisiana and Florida and Brazil. So I'm used to, I say all the time, I hail from a very tropical people. I don't like, it gets below fucking 70 degrees.
I'm with you,
like,
man. I'm
"Ugh,
thin-blooded."
Get out of here. Yeah.
Not me.
Yeah, we get it.
Throw
Fucking
me in a
Detroit.
fucking snowdrift. I'm good to go. I'm a heater. I will melt that snow with my own body temperature. In any case, yeah, the Texas, the legislator whose son it was, made it so that the parks like that can no longer self-inspect, which is good. It's progress.
It is good, but you know what sucks is that if it happened to anybody else, no fucking legislator would give a fuck.
I think what sucks more than anything is this horrifying detail that I hesitate to even mention.
We'll be very somber and respectful. Go ahead.
Caleb Schwab's young brother was waiting for him at the foot of that ride.
Oh my god!
So he's like, "Hey, I'll see you at the bottom."
Jesus.
Leaves him, comes around, and when when the fucking thing comes, there's his brother fucking decapitated in the wrap with these two women screaming and crying and bleeding.
Oh my god!
This is the grisly history. This is the bloodbath you wanted, man. We could have done the history of condoms. We could have done the history. We could have done the history of fucking robots.
We have one on the thing. It's historical cock blockers. We have that.
Historical cock blockers.
Historical cock blockers.
Hamilton.
The play?
I don't know.
Spent fucking $400 to take my wife to see Hamilton. Didn't even get my dick sucked. Are you kidding me?
Fucking John Wilkes Booth. Lincoln was gonna get lucky that night.
No. With what are the things you wear? The
Bodices, cod pieces, marital aids.
Stop saying words and I'll think of it. Chastity belt, things like that.
Right. Merkins.
Aren't those just wigs for your pubes?
I guess.
That's what I've always heard. It's a pubic wig.
All right, I got two more. We gotta do two more.
Okay. Yeah.
What were you gonna say about pubic wigs there, Drew?
Just
He loves
Merkins.
them.
They're used in like Hollywood, right?
Yeah.
When people get naked,
Yeah, it's so that they can
and cover their shit.
I always thought it was just so that they wouldn't be embarrassed that they can't grow like rich, verdant pubic hair.
Verdant?
I don't
Yeah.
know.
No, pubic hair can't be verdant.
Why can't it be verdant?
Because that implies that it's foliage.
Not necessarily.
I mean, you call it a bush, dude.
The root.
God damn it.
The
Drew, you fucking slinging them from half court sometimes. It's good.
The root of the word
Roots,
verdant
bushes.
is the Latin word for green.
Okay. Verd. Okay, you ever been to Vermont?
Verdi.
Green Mountains, Vermont.
Yeah. They are green part of the year.
England, green and pleasant land. They could use verdant in there.
Yeah, but
Maybe
green pubes?
Maybe some of these people want their own green
Green
and pleasant
pubes?
lands.
Green pubes!
Okay, so I got two more. We got time for two more?
We have time for whatever you want time for, baby.
Okay.
I have so much of your fucking to edit out. We got time for 8 more.
You're not editing shit.
I don't even edit, dude.
You don't have to edit a goddamn thing. This is good. The fucking dog's not tap dancing across the floor.
Oh my God.
This is gonna be a pretty easy one, I feel like. So the Haunted Castle. We're gonna go back to Six Flags real quick, but the Six Flags Great Adventure in Jackson.
Haunted Castle in
the
Disney?
Haunted Castle at the Six Flags Great Adventure in Jackson Township, New Jersey.
Where is the room growing?
In 1984, a fire began in the attraction at 6:35 p.m. on May 11th, 1984.
Oh, this is when the exits were blocked and nobody could get out?
You remember watching that show Tacoma FD?
Yeah.
When they have like the episode.
That's the
where,
guys from Broken Lizard,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Did you ever see that? Pretty good. A couple of the guys from
You
like
just said so many things that I have no idea what they are.
a couple of the guys from the Broken Lizard comedy troupe who did like
Super Troopers.
Oh, okay.
Super
Yeah.
Troopers.
Yeah,
yes.
they
did a TV show.
They did a TV show called Tacoma FD where they're firefighters. But in one episode, they respond to like a haunted house fire, and this is kind of based on it, except it's far more horrific than it is in the show. So a fire began in the attraction at 6:35 on May 11th. Fanned by the building's air conditioning, it spread rapidly due to the use of flammable building materials.
Yeah.
Like fucking
I read about this one.
polystyrene and shit like that, which you do for
a
haunted house. Approximately 29 guests were in the attraction at the time. 14, including 4 park employees, managed to escape. 7 who survived were treated for smoke
installation.
Smoke
You gotta get it. You gotta get it in them.
smoke.
You gotta install that smoke.
7 who survived were treated for smoke inhalation. Those killed included 8 teenagers from a group of 9 that entered together.
Fucking hell! What would it be like to be the one that lived?
Jesus Christ! I mean, like, what happened?
You're all of you. Okay, 8. You're a teenager. Those are all your best friends. Those are all your best friends. Just fucking died in a fire, and I'm the one that made it out.
Speed dating would be terrible after that. Tell me something interesting about yourself. Oh, well, when I was a teenager, I went to a haunted house with 8 of my friends.
With
and they
my
were
best
all,
friends, and
they all
died in a
to
fire.
death.
Oh, my God. No,
Check, please.
No disrespect. No disrespect.
Hey, you want to get out of here?
To those who lost their lives.
No, it's fucking, this is gnarly. This is ostensibly a comedy podcast. Like, you know, not trying to be disrespectful to anyone that's died whatsoever.
We claim to be that, at least.
Yeah. But
we laugh a lot.
The lone survivor of the group was carried to safety by a park employee. One witness, whose group entered several minutes after the group who fell victim, later testified that she saw flames coming from around the bend of the attraction's Hunchback display. She originally thought it was part of the show, but realized the flames were real after smelling smoke.
What year was this?
This was 1984.
Oh, so before the cathedral at Notre Dame burnt to the ground.
Yes, that would have been ironic. Don't you think? Her group.
I just imagine this lady going, "Well, I thought it was supposed to be on fire.
I thought it was a little on the nose. Prescient, maybe.
Well, yeah, definitely prescient.
If it was a few years later,
The only time I've ever seen the cathedral was on fire. How am I supposed to know it's not supposed to be? I thought it was part of the haunted house.
Deeper cut. If it was just a few years later after the animated Hunchback of Notre Dame had come out.
The Disney movie.
It could be like, I thought it was like that song. You will burn. You know that one?
No.
The
Never saw it.
Or the Baron or whatever.
No.
God damn it.
Never saw it.
Fun fact
I saw
information:
it,
the
but I was
voice
like
actor Tom Wolfe, who played Quasimodo in that movie, previously had won an Academy Award for his appearance in Amadeus as Mozart.
Does he talk like this? I'm
No.
the hunchback. Look at my back.
Hey, you know me, Quasimodo.
I gotta ring the bells. Everyone's gonna be late for work or something.
They want me to be king of this festival. I don't know. Okay.
It somehow slowly started turning into Gilbert Godfrey.
The fire highlighted a complex collection of local.
I gotta ring the bells.
Anyway, a bunch of people died.
Children died.
An independent film titled Doorway to Hell? The mystery and controversy surrounding the fire at Haunted Castle was produced in 2003 by Peter James Smith, longtime patron of the Haunted Castle. Smith's documentary, which won a Best Research Award at 2004 New York International Independent Film and Video Festival, documents the fire investigation and trial, the questions, the official reports finding that the fire was accidental.
You know, you could have read that regularly. I wasn't going to interrupt you again. But now I gotta go ring the bells!
The film says that 2 earlier visitors on the day of the fire reported finding an exit door chained shut.
Shut up.
But they were not called as witnesses.
What?
Ocean County authorities.
I feel like those would be good witnesses.
Ocean County authorities reported no physical evidence of chained doors and dismissed such claims. Some visitors and employees Smith interviewed thought doors were blocked at times for the security of the actors and to keep people from going outside to smoke cigarettes and marijuana. Smith also says that diagrams of the castle and its exits used in the trial were inaccurate and did not show a metal fence erected to protect actors from hostile guests, something that would have made escape more difficult and was found at the scene. Great Adventure officials declined to comment on the film.
What was the result of the lawsuit?
There was none.
There was no lawsuit?
Well, let's see here. Okay, so
there were 8 of them probably.
Let's see here.
You don't have to get into the...
On September 14th, 1984, a grand jury in Toms River, New Jersey, indicted Six Flags Great Adventure and its parent company, Six Flags, on a charge of aggravated manslaughter for recklessly causing the deaths under circumstances manifesting extreme indifference to human life. Say that 10 times fast.
So we won one.
Kinda.
They indicted them. That doesn't.
Yeah, it's the two park executives charged separately with manslaughter avoided trial and possible imprisonment by entering a pre-trial intervention program that allowed them to perform community service.
What probably allowed the families to go after them civilly for wrongful death.
Community service,
which they probably ended up settling for.
Yeah, exactly. The families of 4 of the victims filed civil suits against Bally's Manufacturing, the owner of Six Flags. Bally Manufacturing? Six Flags Great Adventure and the castle's builder, George. Blah, 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 blah. Well, yeah, a bunch of people filed civil suits.
Yeah.
7 of the 8 families
Wrongful death
settled out of
suits.
court for $2.5 million each.
And they all settled, like I said.
The 8th family
God
chose to
damn
go
it.
to
It's
trial.
almost like I watch all this shit all the time too much. Maybe.
Check this out. 7 of the 8 families settled out of court for $2.5 million. The 8th family chose to go to trial and was awarded $750,000.
Oof.
Ooh,
And then you got to pay your lawyer.
that's rough.
Half of that's going to, whatever your Morgan & Morgan or whomever.
One more little detail in here.
Mm-hmm.
8 days after the fire, a statement by the Ocean County Prosecutor's Office said a 13-year-old boy had called the police after hearing radio reports that investigators were looking for witnesses. The boy told the police that he'd been befriended by a 14-year-old boy at the castle's entrance. He said the older youth, who appeared to be familiar with the castle, offered to guide him through. He said the older youth used a cigarette lighter to find his way down a long corridor that was dark because of a malfunctioning strobe light, and he eventually bumped into and ignited a foam rubber wall pad. The prosecutor exonerated the older youth, who has never been identified, of any criminal wrongdoing.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. So that's the story.
I mean, at least it was accidental.
Yeah, but imagine being a 14-year-old that fucking
Has that on his conscience?
accidentally killed like
So he's
13 people. Yeah.
Yeah, he's probably not doing so hot.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Jesus Christ. Okay, I got one more. We got time for one more?
I told you, we got all the time
You
in the
just
world.
say
baby.
yes. You just say yes. When I asked that question.
No.
Well, and
Yes.
it has been a privilege.
I was answering. I was responding. I will not say yes.
Okay, I got this one. This article's 19 years old. It was on the Daily Mail,
UK website.
UK website. Student hurled to his death in medieval siege catapult stunt.
Stop. What? What? Can you say that again?
Student hurled to his death in medieval siege catapult stunt.
I'm trying to put all the words in my brain and make them make sense, and my brain is trying to kick half of them out.
Student
Hurled to
hurled
death
to his death
in medieval.
siege catapult stunt. Now this is inaccurate.
They didn't put people in catapults or trebuchets in medieval sieges. They put rocks and things.
I was going to say this. The title of this article is obviously inaccurate because it was a trebuchet. It's a very different mechanism than a catapult.
It almost always was.
It's
Historically.
silly to equate the two. Drew, are you familiar with the trebuchet versus catapult schism?
I believe so, but maybe for
So
your listeners, you
Catapults predominantly were
It just uses the tension
the
of
tension
the
of like
rod.
pulled rope usually, and
Trebuchet
like
has the-
the compressed rope. and
Trebuchet
then
has a
the-
counterbalance that
which would allow
wangs it-
you
wangs it
allow
over.
you to change the length of your throw, depending on your weight, which is
it also makes it easier to pull it down and load.
yeah, very very important when you're thinking about attacking different sites, because you get your catapult, you got to move that whole motherfucker if you're going to throw it at something else. But trebuchet pretty much just like, all right, now go further back.
Yeah,
Like,
trebuchet's a bit
add more weight.
It's a superior weapon.
Oh yeah, but it definitely
and more frequently used
change
in
the
siege,
face of siege
in
weaponry.
siege battles. Yeah,
Also, one time in 2005, an Oxford University student
they put a
died
person in it.
when he was flung 30 meters through the air by a trebuchet as a stunt, but instead of landing on a safety net, he only clipped it before striking the ground. An inquest
God
heard yesterday.
Damn.
Now, you remember...
Now, how'd you get into Oxford if you're going to get inside of a fucking trebuchet?
It's English. I assume they all go there. You remember earlier when I was saying I've got this joke that I want
Is
to
that
say?
it? Is it just in my brain that it's like the I don't know, Harvard or Yale or MIT of England?
It's an Ivy League school. It's like the only British Ivy League school.
Yeah.
It's like massive.
So you got to be a pretty smart guy.
Yeah, Oxford University. Stephen Hawking.
They probably still have.
Do you want
frats
to
there.
hear? Do you want to hear the joke that
Was it a
I've
frat
been-
boy? Was it an English frat boy?
I don't know if they have frats at Oxford. I think it's different. They've got just houses of buggery.
They have fraternities. I feel like fraternities came from there.
I think it is just to get all the boys together for just spankings and buggery on a Wednesday. Smithington.
Nope.
Prepare the spankery.
I literally, in my brain, I want to do so many jokes in an English accent, and I'm not.
Okay, well, here's see if you can maybe put an accent on this one. So this is so disrespectful to this poor young man. In my head earlier, I thought about this college student, this obviously bro-y kind of adventure-y, like, yeah, I'm a tough guy, like college student getting launched
in England, Oxford student.
Sure, yeah. Well, he's getting launched by a fucking trebuchet.
Well,
you think he was forced to get launched by a trebuchet?
No, but
he's
he
like,
probably
this
had
is gonna
some,
be cool.
He probably had some pints at the local pub.
Yeah, exactly.
His
like,
name's
party.
Probably like Nigel Worthington.
Nigel Worthington sounds like a guy who fucking chews rocks. I don't know, but I will say I thought it may perhaps when his last breath was coming, he was on the ground after he'd been clipped by the fence guard, and he was laying there, and fucking he hears the bagpipes, and the Braveheart theme starts to play, and
is that what Englishmen hear before they die?
There, yeah, he's laying there and he's like, kind of like gargling. He's like, more like Trebuchet, and then he dies.
I fucking hate it. I'm supposed to do that in an accent? More like a Trebuchet.
Yeah, that's it. That's the stuff. That's the stuff. Although, actually, his name was Kostidin Yankov, and I believe he was Russian.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say that is not an English name.
But he was a member of the Oxford Stunt Factory, and he had paid £40 to be launched from a trebuchet, a copy of the medieval siege weapon.
Okay. I have follow-up questions, and maybe you have the answers, and maybe you don't. I don't know. Was this like an event where people were just being launched constantly out of this trebuchet into the net?
It was that kind of thing. Yeah.
So he watched several people successfully.
Yeah, like a bunch of people. Although one of the people that was loading him up was like, now listen, you don't have to do this. In fact, I've broken my pelvis doing this stunt. And he was like, let's fucking go.
I'm really trying to
yes, I know. Don't worry.
But the ambulance driver says he landed on his buttocks and hit the ground with tremendous force. The injuries to his higher legs and lower spine are horrific. The guy knew he was seriously injured, and he was telling me he was going to die. Yeah.
Wow. What do you have to do to a Russian guy to get him to say he's going to die?
Well, he might have just said it like, I will
both
die
his femurs
now.
and his pelvis.
Just don't give him vodka
No,
for a
I
couple
will
of
die.
days. No, I die.
I have broken my buttocks. I will now die.
Goodbye now.
He's good Russian death, trebuchet.
Well, holy shit. That's tragic. You know what else is tragic?
We are out of time.
It's time to sign off. Yeah. It's time to sign off. But thank you guys for listening to another episode. If you enjoyed it and you like it, there are a couple of ways that you can tell us. One, fucking tell everybody that you know. That's a good way, right? That's the easy way. Just be like, hey, I've been listening to this. These guys are funny. Number two is like whatever you're listening to. Statistically, it's going to be Spotify followed by Apple Podcasts. You can rate us. You can leave a review on each of those, and you can tell us what you think. On Spotify, it's episodes. You can leave comments on the episodes. On Apple Podcasts, you go to the three little dots. You can rate and review. That means like a ton to us. I've said it before. That's like our currency in this. Dude, look at who we're competing with. There are famous people, famous motherfuckers that have been in movies and TV shows and have famous bands that everybody knows. These guys, I don't even know what the fuck they're doing. Like, what are they even? Go take your money and go do some other fun shit.
Looking for research for this stuff. I ended up listening to this very fucking cool podcast called Podcast The Ride. That's about the history of amusement parks. Oh, I didn't cite the book I was reading either. Hold on a second. But Podcast The Ride has like 400 episodes. They've got thousands and thousands of followers.
Sure.
The fuck's gonna listen to us talk about theme park bullshit?
Well,
these guys are out
at least
here.
If you had said Theme Park The Ride, it's Tom Cruise's fucking podcast.
Right.
Then I'd get fucking.
Podcast The Ride.
Then I'd get upset. Podcast The Ride. Whatever you said. I don't know if
I also read the book The Amusement Park: 900 Years of Thrills and Spills by Steven Silverman. Which is Not a riveting read. Really was. I thought it would be more fun. A lot of historical context.
Okay, well, that's not bad.
Good, but like, I need some.
It gets
something,
dry. Yeah.
something. It's pretty fucking
listening
dry.
Listening to histories can.
Yeah,
it's tough.
Page. I don't know. 6 6 of listening to and then in Worthington they erected the second bathhouse of the third reign of King Edward VII.
Oh God.
Jesus fuck.
Well, anyway.
When do you get to the corn dogs?
Those. So, what the fuck was I saying? Oh yeah, if you want to,
what are we ever saying, Patrick?
If you want to let us know, that's the way to let us know.
Also, let us know how much you like the fucking new jingle. Thank you so much, producer Drew.
Yes, please. Thank you. Give him props. We don't even give a fuck. We really don't. I don't care if anybody says anything nice about me ever. What I do care about is that...
Don't say anything mean about Drew, though. I'll get really pissed off.
What I do care about is that Drew...
Say whatever you want about me.
What I do care about...
Say you're a cutie patootie.
...is that Drew did something very nice for us, and that I do care about. So
that
you
is
can say whatever you
that's
want.
code for we're not paying him.
Yeah.
Fuck!
Yeah, I'm cloud nine for a hot second on this one, but yeah, you can also send us a message. Let us know what you liked, what you don't like. Tell us if you have a show idea that you thought of that maybe we haven't, and if we decide to do it, we will give you a shout out on the episode. Beyond that, we've got Instagram, Threads, Facebook. You can find us at all of those on Delete Everything Podcast. And if you really, really, really want to support the show, you can join us on Patreon. That's going to be patreon.com/Delete Everything Podcast. You're going to get bonus episodes, most of them like 30, 45 minutes. And they're just sort of Riley and I bullshitting a lot. And by the way, we have to do one now.
Right now?
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you guys for tuning in to our episode about amusement parks. This has been a thrill ride, a roller coaster of emotion.
It's stupid.
But if you've had,
Drew's leaving.
If
Drew's
you've had
leaving
a good
you.
time, come down and see us.
Across from the Walmart, I think, is where it is.
Come down and join us at Roller Coaster Galaxy,
God
located
almighty.
across from the Walmart. We promise not to cut your child in half. Bye.
Thank you guys. Bye.
Jesus Christ, breaking news. Fucking Andrew sat through this entire goddamn episode and didn't mention this.
Okay, well, it's not super relevant because like no horrible disasters ever happened. But I actually used to like be in the testing groups for some of these like theme parks in Orlando.
Mm-hmm.
Like when they upgraded Tower of Terror in like 1998, like we tested the ride and I would like fucking fill out a survey, like 10-year-old little me, and all
you had
of
a job at 10?
No, my grandmother worked for a company that I think they did like sculptures around the parks and maybe like worked on some of the rides.
And she was like, "Put my fucking grandkid in there. Fuck it."
Yeah, she was a
I
really.
thought you were gonna say like she worked in like a market research group or something like.
Well, they would give free tickets to like some of these like kind of tertiary like entities that worked on the parks, and then we would go in. And it was kind of cool, like no lines or anything like that. But then you fill out a survey like this part was cool, this part sucked, or whatever. And I'm 10, like everything was cool. But I did it for that for what's the Blizzard Beach?
Oh yeah, the Disney water park.
Yeah, so that whole park before it opened, I got to like kind of test out and Islands of Adventure.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you got to go on like Spider-Man before anybody?
Yes.
Well, fuck you. Right?
Riley's jealous.
See, well, this is why I didn't bring it up.
Spider-Man's red.
Yeah.
All right, well, bye for real this time.
All right, bye.
Bye.